Thanks.
We're good.
Great. Thank you, Alicia. Good afternoon, everybody. It is Wednesday, 7 January 2026, and this is a regular meeting of the Water Valley Board of Selectmen. I am Rich Reeder, the chair, and here with me today is Wendy Rathgeber, vice chair, and Dan Bancroft, select board member. So we have a quorum. Is anybody here for privilege of the floor? Okay. Let's quickly move through approval of minutes. I just had a couple comments. I don't know if Kristen had a chance to look at them, but I thought they were fine. This is the
12-3.
12-3
Yeah.
amendments. I sent them. I think I
You just.
CC'd you guys.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I saw your changes. They were fine with me. I had sent, I believe, Steve a change. I thought we shouldn't use the word headhunters in there. That could be viewed as offensive to people.
Okay,
So, you know, recruiters or.
yeah, is that in the,
recruiters or
is
something.
it?
That was in my
Okay.
comments. to Don.
So could you collect all those and have those changes
Sure.
made? So if someone will make a motion, did you have anything on them at all?
I'd already submitted
That's
my
right,
comment.
that's
Yeah.
right.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes of 12-5.
12-5-25.
With the appropriate changes that we have recommended.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's move to, I have moved the STR permit application change to the top because I think wanted to make sure that we had Alicia here, because she is actually administering the program that we have. So, the recommendation of DPS and because of potential changes coming down in the zoning amendments this March, the select board is considering to make a key change to our permitting process. That is to require permits for all STRs. Right now, we do not require permits for all STRs, only those who plan to rent over 30 days in any given year. So it's a little complicated. You have to think of it as a box with 4 quadrants, right? Because there are 4 moving parts here. There are short-term rentals. So the basic definition of short-term rental is renting for less than 30 days or less. So that is separate from renting more than 30 days a year. So you have those 2 quadrants, and then you have a quadrant for whether an STR is run through a lodging facility or a real estate management firm, or if it's being rented by the owner, his or herself, via whatever mechanism, online mechanism they use. So there are 4 different types. What we want to do is remove the complicating factor of only permitting those that are rent more than 30 days a year. And so that's what this is about. I don't know, Alicia, you administer this thing.
Saying, having it be, if you're gonna have a short-term rental, unless it's run through, you know, like the Black Bear has a rental program, you know, those places.
Right. So we still keep
Rental
that,
program, yes.
we still keep that.
But then anything else, if you're short-term rentaling it, you need a permit.
Right.
If it's for 1 weekend and you just do it 1 weekend, you still need it.
Well, we still require permits for those who own an occupied lodging facility.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But the people, we don't require a permit for short-term rentaling if it's run and managed through a rental program,
Right.
you know, like
At the
already.
lodge.
Because those already have their own life safety.
Right, they already have their
Checks
own
and-
regulations and their
Right.
own life
Right.
safety stuff. and
But if
stuff.
someone in one of those lodges was renting on their own, they would have to get
If
a
it's not going
permit.
through the rental program
Right,
for that lodge,
True.
then they would need an STR.
If it's allowed by that HOA.
Right.
right. And that's strictly
Yeah.
Right,
their call.
but it does make sense, I think, as far as a life safety, from a life safety standpoint, to make sure that someone isn't putting people up in their basement with no windows and even if
Right.
it's just for
Right.
1 weekend, you know.
Right.
Right.
it makes a
So
lot of
right
sense.
now, it's, you don't need one if you're only gonna rent it for a weekend
Right.
Right.
or less than 30 days in a calendar year.
So this is a select board regulation and how we decided to interpret the approval that was given by the town meeting, what, 3 years ago? I'm trying to remember now. Was it 23? 20,
So,
I think it
22 or
was
23.
22 or 20,
21
22?
maybe?
maybe even 21. Yeah. Yeah, no, we wanted to get on top of that because so many towns have found themselves in legal struggles with either homeowners who wanted rent or investment firms who come in and buy up these properties, and their zoning regulations made it very difficult for the town to put any restrictions on them beyond noise and trash and all of that. So if the board agrees, I think we could go ahead and direct the town staff to make the change. It would be essentially removing one section, the top section, the preamble, where you have a choice, are you renting for less than 30 days or more than 30 days? Doesn't matter now.
Right.
Right.
You need a permit, and then you get in the type of rental being applied for. So
Yeah.
I don't know, board have any comments on the matter? Everything else, I think we plan to leave. We're talking about the short-term rentals and simplifying it as you had said would be
Yeah, I was
a
just
good
waiting
thing.
for the amendment, or town, so.
Right, we can do it anyway, right, but the amendments are gonna be,
Can I ask a quick question?
yeah, of course,
The version we have in here,
yeah,
is this the old version or the new version?
no, that is what it is now, yeah,
They haven't changed it.
Oh.
I haven't changed anything yet.
right.
Oh,
But
okay.
Yeah,
So this would essentially remove that preamble where it asks you the two questions. And then you just go to the different types of STRs, lodging or independent, and then all the sorts of information. I think this permit was, I think Chief, you're the one, your team pulled together this permit a couple years ago. 2-3 years ago.
Several years with
Yeah.
the direction of the board at the time.
Right, absolutely. So you're still happy with their certification rather than, a code enforcement officer actually inspecting it, but we got there. So you're okay with everything else on the form, but just make this change to simplify.
So are
the
you
process.
making this an any term rental? Instead of a short term
No.
rental?
No,
Nothing.
just short-term
For
rentals.
rentals less than 30 days.
Right. Any, short term. We have a definition.
Someone's like renting out their unit on the month.
For seasonal, on a seasonal.
For season,
Doesn't
yeah.
apply for seasonal,
Yeah.
Doesn't apply for.
Anything less than 30, anything more than 30 days. That's how we define short-term rental.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we weren't redefining short term.
Mm,
No,
No.
It's,
Yes,
You
Chief.
would like these changes before the amendment?
I think we should do it anyway, whatever, however the amendment falls. In whether it's approved or not approved. I think this is something that we've been looking at as, in terms of simplification. If we don't do this and the zoning amendment is approved, then, we will have no way of tracking, whether or not people are adhering to the zoning ordinance if we don't have a permitting process, which we wouldn't have if they were 30 days or less. You have to kind of back your way down to that. So we would just like to see it. I think it's good. It stands on its own. I think it just came to the fore because the zoning amendments kind of pushed it to the fore.
yeah, I think it makes sense.
Make sense?
There's some regulations that go with it, so we'd have to change those.
No, I think we had the language in the warrant article. This was built on the language on the
Well,
warrant article.
With the,
And we,
yeah, I
yeah.
can't remember if any of the actual regulations that come with the permit say anything about the days or what, but we can look at that. if
I
we
don't-
have to change
I don't
it.
think we had a separate regulation for this. I think we incorporated it with the permit. And that the zoning talks about these definitions. What is a short-term rental?
There's a page of regulations.
Are there?
talking
Okay.
about, like, if you're, if there's complaints and the process for that and.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, if there's violations,
Right.
what the process is.
Okay,
or-
right.
Well, this-
but not for permitting per se,
No,
but
this Oh, I don't remember if it says anything.
No, it
about-
wouldn't have, I think you could double check that, but I can't imagine it's gonna change in any way, because you still, if you're talking about,
There will
noise
be some
complaints.
Changes, so.
Okay.
Why don't we try to prepare something possibly for next meeting? We can give it to you to review and.
Okay, there is a little bit of a time thing here too going on. I think we were trying to get out this change to put it as an insert into into our outgoing, water, sewer and trash bills. They're coming, yeah, just looking for them. Otherwise, that way we make sure we get the maximum distribution. I mean, we can work on the language, but if we agree with just going to eliminate this aspect of it, I think then changing the regulations just fits it. to
I
our-
think you can certainly, make the announcement however you wanted to, just saying all short-term rentals are
Now require permitting,
now required,
right,
for
period,
no matter what they are,
yeah,
as a reminder, but I would certainly, before we implement anything, I would want to.
no, that's fine, yeah. This will
make
get,
sure you
this will get the word out,
Yeah,
yeah.
Question, how long does the permitting process take?
It's usually like a couple day turnaround, they
Yeah.
Right,
give me the
if
permit.
somebody calls somebody and they have their place is open and they say, hey, I've got some friends coming into town, I'm gonna let you stay in my condo, for instance,
As guests or
and they're gonna
rent,
pay you,
okay,
right? But, and you're saying this is for any period,
Mhm.
including weekends.
Mhm.
So it's now Thursday. They just called me up. Now what do I do?
you tell them you get 2 business days,
Don't charge them any money.
Yeah,
I think we have a $20, I think we have a 20, is it $20?
Don't charge the tenant any money.
right.
Oh,
Then-
right,
Then, yeah,
right.
exactly.
The whole purpose of this was to make sure that people are renting places that are safe.
Safe,
Correct.
exactly.
Okay, and the whole reason why we had a permit process in place is, and why it was only a $20 fee is to ensure that the places that are being rented meet all the fire codes, they've got working railings, doors, fire extinguishers, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
If they have all that stuff in place, I mean, it still takes, I'm the one that signs off on it, so if I'm not here or if I'm on vacation.
It doesn't
that
matter
stuff might
anyway.
Still,
Right,
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 wait till Monday,
is this a one-time thing or I have to do it every single time somebody wants
It's an
to?
annual thing.
no, you get a
They're good for 2
2
years.
Oh, 2 years.
2 years,
2 years.
yeah, so any permit that's current now stays that way, and then, I think this is what we will put in the insert. If you're gonna change, just let everybody know that when if you have a permit, if it runs out, when it runs out, you need to get a new permit, and if you don't have a permit, you need to get one now, and I'm not saying, as of today, I think I think we talked about the end of February. Get a permit by the end of February if you don't have one and you are running a short-term rental. So that's a month and a half more, month and a half,
That'll be included in the language of the flyer.
Of the flyer.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
You Good with it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Dan?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
All right,
I'm not. I just see so many exception cases where this wouldn't be followed or where there would be a lot of pushback by the community against this because of I understand the short-term rental thing in general. I'm not complaining about that. My concern is somebody called me up. It's last moment and I didn't have a permit type thing.
Well, I think most people who are going to
I
be
don't know.
charging, I think most people who are
Yeah,
going to be charging
commercial
someone
enterprise.
to use their place will have thought this through ahead
Yeah.
of time.
That may be,
And,
I
and
don't,
you're in your type of case, like if it's friends of mine and they've got their mother-in-law and they just don't want to be on the same roof, sure, stay in my condo and I wouldn't charge them, or, they'd buy me a bottle of wine or something, But I think maybe you're thinking of 2 different types of,
yeah,
of
maybe,
usages.
These are the folks that are posting on Airbnb.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
Arctic
Yeah, no, I don't do
House,
any of that, so I'm not,
Those
you know,
are-
in my
Right.
case, I'm
It's
not
a
worried
sort of
about any of this.
commercial-
I'm trying to think of our wider
Yeah,
community.
well, here's the thing though, Dan, if you're,
in the-
if you're ever planning to use, to run a short-term rental, you got, you know, apply for the permit. It's good for a year.
2 years.
Excuse me, 2 years. So, I mean,
Thank you.
you know, at last minute,
I think that most people, I mean, obviously we get people that are buying new places all the time out here and. Anyone that's planning on renting it knows that they call the town and they ask what the process is
Yeah.
for a short-term rental. I think it's
Okay.
just sort of a. You know, that people are used to knowing they need some sort of
Okay.
permit for short-term rental.
Alrighty.
Those are the new people coming in, so I don't think it would be like. A big.
no, I don't think so either.
People that probably don't.
Well, they'll have,
Or they
yeah,
do.
It's not abnormal for our process.
right.
Yeah.
All right. So I'd like to end this, but go ahead, Craig, I'll let you get a word in. Yeah.
There are some Airbnbs up and around, and it gives, as a property owner or somebody that's a neighbor of an Airbnb, it gives us an opportunity, a mechanism to fix the complaints. What it does. We've had some problems with some Airbnbs ourselves,
Mhm.
and it gives us a mechanism instead of me going out and throwing rocks at them.
Yeah, don't do that.
So it gives us a mechanism to mediate the problems, because there are problems with some of the Airbnb.
Sure.
Right.
And that's something we're also trying to capture. We're trying to capture that as well as safety.
Obviously, you need a smoke detector and stuff like that.
Right.
But
Yeah,
If
All right.
it was just you bringing your friends, there's not much I can do if I have a complaint.
Okay, so I mean, I think, did you want to have a vote on this, Dan, or?
no, I'm okay. Do we need a vote?
No, I mean, it's up to you. I mean,
Okay.
Wendy and I are for this change, but if you want to turn it into
No,
a
I will
vote.
accept that change.
Okay, so let's go ahead and make that change and
Okay.
work on a flyer.
Sure.
To get out, to get it. All right. So let's go ahead and move. I also have a new business. I did want to keep someone here from New Hampshire Electric Co-op. Oh, sorry. Please. Oh, that's what all these people are here for. Oh, I was worried. We did something wrong. So, yes, please, we asked, for the record, do you want to, go ahead.
Thank you all for joining us. This was intended to happen, I think, last month or so with a representative that the town had worked with for a long time, Bill Johnstone. I don't think he's here today, correct? He is
He's no
off
longer-
into retirement land. Good for him.
He no longer-
Congratulations, Bill. But I really appreciate all the efforts you guys have done in coordinating a visit today, because I think it will be pretty helpful for the select board and our residents of Waterville Valley to kind of understand what all that activity has been going on Route 49 at the substation, and maybe some insight to some kind of recent disruptions that the town experienced in October. Some of those disruptions caused some pretty significant damage at some of our businesses with their, I don't know all of the electrical termination terms, but within their electrical capacity. So I think, Chelsea, are you going to be presenting today?
I'm going to start and then I will pass over to some, yes.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
do we need to have some, I think you may have to come up to the microphone to make sure we're captured. Otherwise, the people,
Do whatever you want.
the people can't hear you who, in the video, so,
All right, and I'll,
right.
yeah, just
So if you would just announce who you are and who you
Is
represent.
Microphone on?
Yeah, we will double check it. Good point. I don't see it. Is there a hatch?
thank you.
Thanks.
You can raise it. You don't have
That's
to.
fine. I'm used to this. Good afternoon. My name is Chelsea Smith. I'm with New Hampshire Electric Cooperative. I'm the new Bill Johnstone. I am the key accounts advisor, meaning I work with our large commercial accounts and municipalities. I am joined by 3 of my colleagues here, starting with Jim Peran. He is our Director of Operations. Luke Rodu, our Director of Engineering, excuse me, and then Colin Manning, he is our Director of Communications and Government Relations. Thank you. So just a little introduction. This is going to be our agenda for today. We'll start with a little background on the co-op, our service to Waterville Valley, as Steve talked about the substation upgrade, our commitment to reliability. We will focus on the October outages and moving forward, and then we will open it up to discussion and questions. So this is just a little information overall of New Hampshire Electric. We were founded in 1939, part of the rural electrification effort. We are a nonprofit cooperative. That means we are owned by our members. We're not investor owned. As you can see, we're pretty spread out throughout the state of New Hampshire. We're all the green. We are the second largest utility in New Hampshire. It's spelled out there, but we have 70,619 members. We have 85,578 active accounts and 88,461 meters throughout the territory. So a little more focus on Waterville Valley. In the town of Waterville Valley, we have 1,519 meters. It is split 76% residential and 24% commercial. Waterville Valley is part of our Plymouth district, which is our largest district in the cooperative. Just a little fun fact, in the Plymouth district, we have 15, I believe that is linemen and operations employees in the district. In the village itself, all of the electric lines are underground. The substation is fed by overhead lines through 8 miles, again, of overhead line through the National Forest. Now we will.
Only 8 miles? Really?
8 miles. 8 miles. Comes up out of the board.
So now we're going to be focusing on the reliability. The co-op has 5 pillars that we focus on in our strategic plan. Affordability for our membership, reliability, which is what we're going to be talking about more, our member experience, our employee experience, and our broadband build out. So again, oh, no, sorry.
Oh,
I'm so, no, that was mine. So a little bit, we're going to touch a little bit on the reliability here. What we do with the reliability is we are focusing on upgrading substations throughout our territory, one of which was the Waterville substation. Modernizing equipment to accommodate any future growth and also larger loads that are coming in. To do this, it is a multi-year, multi-million-dollar investment. A little bit more on Waterville substation itself. The substation was replaced in the fall of 2025. This included replacing a 40-year-old station power transformer. It became operational on December 17th, and total this was a $3.1 million investment. These are some photos that my colleagues pulled. I think it's kind of interesting. It shows down here in the bottom, you'll see what the substation is in relation to the town. Yes, thank you, Steve. Yep. And here is a picture of some of the work their contract 2 is working on the substation. And with that, I'm going to pass it on to Jim Horan.
Thanks. So in order to take the station down, our station out of service and create a safe work zone for the people that were replacing the equipment and the transformer, we had to provide an alternate feed. That alternate feed was a mobile substation, which is basically a tractor trailer that we back in. And we connect all the wires to, and then we swap over, and then we drop the station out. So you never see an outage for that type of thing. Unfortunately, during that event, it makes it our system a little bit more vulnerable. Normally, there's 4 different protective devices in the substation that protect the different parts of town. In order to put the substation in, we had to tie those circuits together and protect them with 1 device. So in October, when the big event occurred, we had a cable failure in the village area that's all underground. That caused the device, the substation, to trip off, which dropped the whole town out. So with overhead lines, it's pretty easy to troubleshoot. We can drive down the road, look at the wires. Oh, there's a tree on it, cut it off, that type of thing. When it's underground, it's a little bit or a lot more encumbersome. We have to go to every device, unlock it, open it, look, and go on to the next device until we've secured a series of devices. Then we can energize that piece, and then we have to go to the next piece and do the same thing. So it's very labor intensive. We did bring in additional crews that day, and then troubleshooting, and then we gradually picked the town up. The outage was basically a cable failure in the ground, and 1 cable had faulted into another, so 2 cables together had failed. The good news is that over the last 30 years, we've replaced almost all of our underground cable, probably 98% of it. And when we did that, we built in loop feeds, which allows us redundancy. So when we do have a piece of failed cable, we can plug on from one end or the other and just isolate that 1 piece of cable. That's through the whole village area. So unfortunately, like I said, that it was a long process in troubleshooting to identify and find the problem, and then reroute the power so we could get everybody back on. Had we had the station in service, they would have only affected 25% or a quarter of the community. So the station went back online in December 17th. We're back up and running with all new equipment, and we're looking forward to a much more reliable system here. Mr. Bancroft?
We've had a couple of short-term failures recently, I noticed. Where power went down, then it came back on within a minute, let's say, and that's happened several times over the past, couple of weeks, let's say.
Sure. So the 8 miles of line that comes from Thornton that feeds here is, as we mentioned, through the White Mountain National Forest. We do a great job of maintaining the line. We patrol it regularly, but during a wind event or a heavy snow icing event like we've had the last few weeks, if a tree limb comes down through it, we have our protective devices are designed to open. So as a tree falls down through it, it will clear it and then it'll close back in. It's called reclosing. So when you see a bump like that, chances are something's gone down through it, a tree limb or something like that, it'll cause the line to shut off, but then turn back on. And as you probably all know, you usually count right 1, 2, 3. Oh no, here it goes. So that's the reclosing doing its job.
Right.
Most faults in our system on overhead lines are proven to be temporary faults. So we put that reclosing in place so we can clear a fault and have better reliable service. So that a lot of those bumping, unfortunately, is our system working as it's designed to work. So
Okay,
Thank you.
great. Any other
Thank you.
questions?
Well, It's very
Awesome.
informative.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
no, I appreciate it.
Luke is next.
Next slide.
Next slide.
So I just have a chart up here. It's on our reliability. So just to give a little context, we do collect information on all of our outages in regards to the location, the number of members affected, the duration of the outage, and the cause of the outage. So this chart is showing year by year, and this is Waterville specific, the total member minutes out. So member minutes is a metric of the total members affected multiplied by the minutes that they were affected by that outage. So it's kind of a true sort of value of the impact of outages over the course of a year. So you can see that in 2025, we did have a little bit of a increase in total member minutes out as compared to some of the previous years. The causes are shown there: blue major storm, orange tree, gray transmission provider, and yellow other. The outage the outages described from October make up the bulk of that yellow bar for other, which is the reason why you're seeing kind of a jump from this year. If the station, again, that was because the station was in an abnormal configuration due to the work. Had we had the station in a typical configuration, you would have seen a much smaller bar and outage minutes kind of more in line with what you would see typically year to year. So, and I think we just have one additional
You got another
slide.
one? Yep.
Do we believe that as we move forward in the coming years, that these numbers are going to be reduced significantly because of the work that you guys did with the new substation?
That's our goal. Not just that, but other equipment replacements and reliability projects we're doing. So we look at those numbers and assess, where are the spots on the system that are are most troublesome from a reliability standpoint. And that is how we determine what capital projects, where we should be investing in the system to add replace equipment, add new protective devices that can minimize the location, the number of people impacted by each outage, as well as adding what we call SCADA equipment, where we can actually control devices remotely. So we don't have to roll trucks out to outages. We can actually remotely switch devices from our control center to reroute power during outages. That can also help minimize the duration of outages. So yes, our goal is to see that the trend of minutes lower year to year. But because of storms and unknowns, it's not always a clean trend down. It's sometimes a little overall, we're looking for a trend line down.
Okay,
looks like October is the month.
And yeah, this, again, I think this is the final slide, but this is just showing our number of outages for Waterville month by month in 2025. And unfortunately, yeah, we just had, the duration of our construction, October to December, we had 4 in October there, which, again, because the station was in that abnormal configuration, those outages were more impactful than they would have been typically. So,
Okay.
2 of those were long outages.
correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was 13 hours at my house for one and maybe 16 for another.
Thank you.
I think that's all I have.
Yeah.
One more vision.
Mm.
Okay, so we added this slide, just to share with anyone in the town. These are do's and don'ts of how to be prepared during an outage and what to do during an outage. Please don't assume that we already know about your outage. If your neighbors reported it, always call in or report an outage through our Smart Hub system. Every member has access to a Smart Hub account. You can pay your bill through that. You can set up alerts on usage, etc. You can also report outages. Additionally, if you don't have a Smart Hub account or don't want to create one, you can call into the number and report the outage that way. For information on outages, ETAs, additional information, check out the outage map. The crews update that as much as they can during the storm when they find out information in the field. Don'ts. Again, just don't assume the co-op knows about the outage. Please always report it. Do not report through social media, please. It will not be seen there. Do not go down a downed wire, excuse me. Even if you think it might not be energized.
And public safety does not know when the power is coming back on.
So part 2 of that, if you would like to add this to please add this to the website. That is where they should be reporting all of those outages to.
Yeah, I think we can take
I'm
the
Get
slide
those
and
phone calls and
Yes.
Yeah, we can put that on the website.
I think this would be, yeah.
Come on, Dave, isn't that part of your job?
Maybe not.
And then last slide, and there's some great questions already, but open to discussion or any additional questions.
Just curious, I know National Forest can be an interesting entity to deal with, but has there been any thought about doing something different with those lines as opposed to through the tree canopy, any kind of burying, or is that realistic?
The cost is enormous.
Okay.
If you drive through the right of way, you'll notice that we live in the Granite State, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a lot of ledge, a lot of rock.
Sure,
And it would be cost prohibitive to put 8 miles of line.
okay,
But we do have a very aggressive tree trimming program, so we patrol the line multiple times a year. We look for danger trees, anything that's dead and dying on the side of the right of way that could impact us, we take those out ahead of time, and then we clear it. I believe we're scheduled for 2027 to go from substation to substation to clear the line again. Keep the right of way open.
okay.
So,
I think I recall a conversation with Bill, and he gave me a little insight of how the power ultimately gets to Waterville Valley. There is, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's another substation in Thornton.
That's correct.
Was there some substantial work happening at that substation as well this year? Was there some upgrades too occurring? I thought he had mentioned.
No, not in our Thornton substation.
Not in the Thornton
Not yet. That is on our long-term plan.
Maybe
That
that's
was
what
my
it- yeah,
next
okay.
question. Do you guys anticipate any other major work that'll make the system vulnerable like it was in last October?
That work isn't planned in the next 2 to 3 years. It would be longer term than that. We don't have it exactly scheduled yet,
But that is, yeah,
but it is,
Yeah.
in our
I-
overall long term.
yeah. I would think that one of the things that would be very helpful to the town is that if you do have that a major 3-month-long project that's going to potentially make the system more vulnerable to outages, if the town can be contacted, so we can put the word out
Sure.
through, we have meetings, we have a website, just to let people know, and we can remind them that not to call
Town
if-
hall.
not to call town hall or DPS, but to contact,
Right, gives them an idea.
right, so any heads up you can give us that
Sure.
on that line would be very helpful in the future.
Absolutely.
The other question I have is, what is that installation off of West Branch Road? That's also a substation, but does that belong to?
That belongs to us. It's a
That-
AAA station. Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
alternative feed. So our overhead circuit leaves the substation, crosses Route 49, it runs through the right of way up to the mountain.
Right,
It's what we call an express circuit, which the mountain's pretty much the only thing on it, with the exception of a tap that comes off and goes down Triple I Road. And it feeds that station out on West Branch. And that picks up the load that goes back to the bridge on West Branch, River Road, and all the
Right.
houses down through there.
oh, okay,
That ties to the circuit that comes off the golf course, so those all tie together. So again, if we lose one or the other, we can, we maybe not have to go out there and make connections, but we have the ability to feed
Right.
it by the direction, so.
interesting. Anybody in public had a question they'd like to ask of our good friends here from NHEC?
Well, it's no big deal, it's not a big deal, but we got a three-phase service pumps. And we had problems with our FRD, their computer system, so we we had to hardwire the pumps. And then we got a bill for like $2,000. And it would, maybe, I don't know that much about it, but it would have been nice if somebody told us we were doing it wrong.
Oh. I can't speak to that, we've got a rookie pay.
No, I'm
What kind of, where are you from? What are we?
Well, we have the golf course,
This is on the
Oh,
golf
okay.
course. okay.
so we got
It's
three-phase
better.
service there.
Sure,
And we have a computer system that starts those pumps up slowly. And that's what everybody wants, which is fine with me, but the thing went down and we had to use it, so. We were down a couple of days, so we hardwired it. And then the pumps, when they turned on, just went full motion,
right.
right?
Yeah, they call it a soft start system, right? It allows the
Right.
pumps to gear up and it draws less current as the pumps come up to speed.
Yes, I understand.
And
Now,
so when that was out, what they have is a demand charge, right? So as soon as that pump came
Yeah,
on.
that demand
you
charge
spiked
was
the- spiked the
huge.
demand charge,
and it took forever
right?
I couldn't talk to anybody.
I think if you call if something like that happens again, if you get out the forefront of it and
I
call us
actually
up
had to pull a
early.
truck over.
No kidding, okay,
Yeah.
well, that shouldn't happen, so
No.
we'll definitely speak to Member Solutions.
I'm just saying, it was our fault for what we did.
Sure.
We didn't know we were doing it wrong.
Right,
And all of a sudden, we showed up, we got this $2,000 bill.
Mm,
And it was because they were estimating the demand for the rest of the year,
right,
which is. Again, I guess, but then I tried to find out what we did wrong, and it took me I literally had to pull a truck over,
yes,
And I'd be happy to talk to you more about that and look at your bill and talk about.
Well, it's all-
when
it's
that
been-
happened.
taken care
And if
of.
we can talk about it for the future, I'd love to go.
Well, I know now.
Good.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
anything like that, like he's like, anything with a high spike like that is gonna have
Right.
a high demand charge.
But you must have known it was happening, then that's my point.
we don't until we read your meter.
No, we wouldn't.
Right, but when you read the meter,
Right.
somebody should have said, hey, you guys screwed up. That's all I'm saying.
Okay,
It took me
We'll look-
forever to get rid of that. $2,000.
thank you.
Sure, yeah, we'll definitely have that. Any other questions?
No, I don't see any hands up, so we very much appreciate you coming. This is very informative. And as I said, if you can give us a heads up on any issues you think that might be coming our way, call the town manager and discuss it with them, and then we'll get the word out and be as helpful as we can in the matter. So thank you for coming. You're welcome to stay for a budget discussion and transfer station, solid waste discussion if you'd like, but I'll leave that up to you guys. Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you very much. Appreciate all you guys coming.
Yes.
Okay, let's give him a moment to.
take care. Be safe out there.
Okay. Thank you again, Chelsea. Thank you. Have a nice day.
You too.
Okay, so let's move on to some budget discussion. We are still going through our 2026 budget. Part of that are a number of requests we received from outside organizations for assistance. We put it in our operational budget. I think there are 4 or 5 different items. We have 3 listed here. The Historical Society, Race Center, Community Power. I would add AIA as another. And so what we're gonna talk about today, I think AIA ought to pay attention to, if they're looking for the $10,000 from the town.
As well as Shakespeare in the Valley.
Shakespeare in the Valley was
I
at
have
$2,500.
reached out
You still have something on that?
No, I've reached out to them.
Oh, you haven't
They
heard
need to
back?
Come to us.
Yeah. Again, it's a small amount of money, all things considered, but I think we need to have the paperwork to
Yeah.
backstop why we're spending taxpayers' dollars on these entities. So,
And the conversation's good too.
yeah. Let me, let me go to the Race Center first. I think you're here and I know you're a very busy guy, Craig, so.
Locked up the whole day for it.
Yeah,
Oh.
well, we need it. You take, we go 4 or 5 hours. I know you enjoy it all.
I just, obviously, on the board for the race center, I think the race center is, the preschool portion of it is quite important for the town as far as having a real town kind of thing.
Mhm.
That's kind of I think the biggest asset in this area is not the resorts or the business, it's the fact that we're a town.
Sorry,
So-
can we ask what microphone? Would you mind?
I don't think it's,
Just so everyone can hear.
Or, yeah, or you can, it's removable, so I mean.
No, it's
Yeah, that's true too.
Anyway, so we're asking, want to make sure we're on the budget. Mark used to do.
Right, right. And I see for the record, you've given us
I give it, it's
Right.
only for, I think, 8.
January through October.
Yeah.
Right,
So, but you can kind of get an idea.
right.
One thing I was gonna ask for, there's 2 things that is normally, it was $34,000 on the warrant last year. I'm assuming you put 34,000 on this year.
Yes, that's what we're,
Here,
well, no,
That's
so,
two different things.
they're two
It's the other- So
right.
but
the annual one. let's
The
start with
annual
one.
stipend of 34,000,
Yes.
I think we've raised it from 25 to 34 2 years ago.
right,
Yeah,
And along with the extra warrant article for the 30,
which I don't know where we are.
right, and we
We
could,
are at money, I just don't know,
right. So you're talking about the 34
yes.
here,
Okay.
okay,
Start with that.
okay.
So obviously, we'd like to put the 34,000 on the warrant. Or we could change the number a little bit. I was thinking that there's a time to pick up some of the reoccurring expenses that we have. That would help us out, that have not, that would still keep us separated. By a nonprofit versus town thing. And if the town could pick up, one of the things is the insurance. Liability insurance. Just to let you know. You're the landlord of the
building, yeah.
if there was an incident. You're probably gonna be somewhat exposed no matter what.
Mhm.
So it might be a better idea if you. Had your handle on the whole insurance thing. Or talk to your insurance, it's probably a much better product. Than our small.
Okay, we can look at that.
It's, I bet you if you took the $2,400 that we're spending on liability insurance and talked to your
Right.
agent. I bet you he would do it at $50 or $60 or something.
As an add-on, so that's
Yeah,
that's
I'd like to-
64, 100, that line here.
Yeah.
The liability insurance, you're not talking about the DNO, you're just talking about liability,
Yeah, the liability.
the 24.
You're gonna be
right.
exposed, or you, meaning the town, us,
Right.
are gonna be exposed regardless.
Right.
Usually if you have a big event, they sue everybody.
Of course,
So
it's America.
I think it would not be a bad idea. As a taxpayer and a resident of the town should have. Make sure there's insurance on this thing, and so pay the bill.
What is DNO insurance?
Directors and officers.
Directors and officers.
Ah,
Yeah.
Probably gonna
okay.
drop that.
Okay.
Some of these things were done by, when Mark was president of the board. And I think we're gonna start streamlining some of these items.
So you would like us to add that to the 34,000?
Well, let's just, I'd like to add that, and I also would like to add some of the reoccurring costs, which are the utilities. Basically, now we can play with the 34,000 a little bit.
Yeah, oh, yeah, because I thought you were talking about looking at some of these instead of the 34,000.
No. The gross, let's say the gross is 34,000, if we picked up some of these bills, then we can drop the 34,000.
Gotcha. Okay.
I see.
I mean, the whole thing's coming out to the bottom line.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would just be easier for cash flow purposes. And it would be easier for the operation if all we had to worry about was basically payroll.
Is it just
Which is the thing,
electricity?
Huh?
Utilities?
Cable, you know, the standard heat. Any of the recurring, you know, utilities,
I think heat we take care of right now anyways.
maybe, because I don't see it on here.
Yeah, I see, that's what I was wondering. I
But
see,
electricity
I
is
see
still, right?
electricity.
Yeah.
I don't see-
I bet you your rate's gonna be cheaper
Cable's
than
up
the
top
right
here.
there.
Oh, is it at the top? Got it.
6305.
I got it. So cable, internet,
Yeah,
telephone conference calls.
yeah,
So those three line items there.
yeah. We have to have a phone because of the alarm systems.
Mhm.
But it's not really that necessary to have a phone there, but you can't do it without the alarm. The alarm system is hooked into the phone.
Okay.
We might look at that to see if we can get a radio controlled alarm system and be able to drop the phone. Right. Because nobody's calling.
So basically you're not saying necessarily an increase of the stipend, but rather if we fold these into our town budget as a town building, we could get a better price for it. And
Yes, and
it's out of the
flip
budget,
side,
right.
Which, just to be honest, instead of asking for a big dollar amount, would ask for a lesser amount. And
Mhm.
these small stipends are hidden in your budget. We don't have to argue with people that don't like the place.
Well, we have that, and then we have and this is the other thing I guess you guys will have to look at. We'll be in the last year of that 30,000. I think
Yeah,
there's
I don't think that's
10,000
what I was
left.
gonna ask. That's the only question with that is
Yeah.
there's still 10,000 left on
Right,
the backstop. What it is a backstop.
Right.
Not a actual fund. So yes, but we did it, I think in 2023. I'm off the chart here a little bit.
24.
Yeah.
It was a
Alright.
24 town meeting.
All right, that's fine.
For 3 years, so it runs to
There's still 10 grand
27.
left.
Yeah, one more year, yeah, to use it.
Right, and then we'll talk about it next year.
Yeah.
I mean, the fiscal year starts, we're already into 2026, right? So when we have a town meeting in March,
Yeah.
we've already spent the money. Is that legal?
Yes, we're allowed to spend money based on last year's budget.
All right.
Yeah, until it's
It
approved.
was confusing on my part. when
Well,
I talked
It's,
to you.
it's confusing on everyone's.
Yeah,
part.
if
let's
our
get-
budget is, if our
Let's
budget is not
let's get into
approved.
July 1st till June 30th.
I've not, yeah, I think people have looked at different fiscal years, but
Well, my idea of town government is you have to appropriate the money
Right.
in order to spend the money.
Mhm.
Well,
Right.
we're already 4 months into the thing.
the issue there basically is that even if the town were to vote down the
whole budget.
operating budget, we automatically revert to the previous year's budget. We don't just have no money. So that gives us the
I'm just-
authority.
it's just off the-
Okay, fine.
It caught me by surprise.
I'm just telling,
actually.
that's
I never-
how,
I
that's
don't know
why it works
I
that
never
way.
found
So that's
out.
why we do it on the calendar.
Yeah.
That's why then. Okay.
Yeah, so now I'm getting, so the 10,000 so that's what I'm asking for. If we want to work out something. I don't know if, I'd like to get an increase, obviously, but it doesn't have to be the full amount.
On
Well, I think I added about, there's probably $5,000 items there.
I see, to the 34.
No.
Oh.
I
To
don't want
the-
to get, I'd like to get more than 29, let's say.
So you're looking at like 30, like if
Yeah.
you say, if we take care of these things.
Yes.
the
Don't
insurance,
drop it down.
et cetera,
Don't drop it
Then
down
we could look at 30.
comparatively.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's
Okay,
what
I understand
Okay.
now.
So
Okay.
30 plus these reoccurring costs.
All right.
Is that cool?
Yep, understood. All right.
And there's a capital thing, you're still gonna put that in there.
We usually put, I don't know where the capital for the building, the capital
It's a
reserve.
good idea, I mean.
Yeah, no, I don't know where it stands now. We usually plus it up when we're getting too low. We haven't looked at that. We haven't looked at our capital
It's a good thing to keep going.
improvement.
And if it's
Yeah,
only if
we'll
you use
continue to
it,
do that. No, we'll continue to do that.
yeah.
Do you see anything major coming up, Kirk?
No, but again, I don't want to get into it too much, but what's capital and what's not capital? Obviously payroll is not capital, but is remodeling capital.
Yeah.
So Mark was kind of good about that part of it.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't like a new.
I can get you the balance, but we're pretty healthy right now. I think plus 35,000 in that capital reserve.
Yeah.
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 I don't expect any there's no big ticket items that I know about.
Okay,
All right.
great.
Thank
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. All right, do we have anyone here representing the Historical Society? Reggie? Ex-president.
Yes, ex-president. We've been getting $10,000 a year for the last several years. I think the only exception was during COVID, we suggested that with all the money the town had going out, that we drop it down to 5,000.
Correct,
So
right.
we are
I
once again
remember.
asking for the 10, and that basically goes to all of our operating costs, and we can spend the rest of the money we get in donations and everything and membership to do all the extra things that we do. So
Right, I
basically-
think, Steve, you've had conversations with the new president, Patty Fergal.
Yeah, she came in earlier this week and she provided us with an email, which was great, I thought, that I included in your packet, where she
Mhm.
basically just echoed what Reggie said, where the funds are used for the rent on the lease of the office and the space at Town Square.
Mhm.
The funds are also used on their archival process, boxes and materials to safeguard the collection, software subscriptions as well. It was-
So do you feel that the email is enough of a record for us to approve 10,000? Is it detailed enough?
Yeah, to my knowledge, we haven't asked for anything more in the past, so I think
No, it's been pretty steady at
Yeah, it has.
10. I just want to make sure we have the paperwork undergirding the 10,000. Yeah, what it's going toward. If that email is,
Can
in
I
your
ask a
opinion,
single
okay.
question?
Sure.
That email doesn't mention 10,000, right, on there, but I have a single question on the archival materials and all that stuff.
Mhm.
Where is all that kept?
We have an office space that we rent in Town Square. And we've had to increase the size of that space over the years. We started with a little 9 by 14 foot room with no windows and went to a bigger space and then back to the smaller space along with the bigger space. So we've got a series of rooms there. And we have one room that is used for the collection, which is ever growing. So
Yeah.
eventually, we are putting money aside because eventually we are going to need a bigger space. And we'd like to have something that is truly climate controlled, has got fire suppression.
Right, that
Things
was
in-
my.
Yeah, no, we don't have, yeah,
Concern
no,
was-
they don't, yeah.
No, we
they
don't
were
have
gonna
any of
a
that.
fire there.
It was really expensive.
History of Waterville Valley.
Well, a lot of it is
It
kept,
was up in.
We have all of
worried
that
about
stuff
that.
kept in the collections room, and what we've
Right.
done is we created a system. We've got it all on shelving that was donated, and we have put tarps around it, so you lift the tarps up,
Right.
and if there was to be water coming down, that would.
and you have
that would take
digitized
care
a
of-
lot too, right?
Excuse me?
You've digitized.
We've digitized a
Oh.
lot of things. We've got a database. We've got Past Perfect is a museum-based system, and we've got everything in there. We started that years ago. That was what one of our biggest things was, and we've gone from having just a computer-based one to something that is online now. So it's stored all over the place. We've got it in the cloud. We've got it several different places.
Yeah, I think when, I remember when I was a director, that it was prohibitively expensive
Mhm.
to try to get a climate controlled, and a space, a typical archival space. A lot of stuff is still kept in Concord, no, it's over at,
There are 14 boxes down at Dartmouth,
Dartmouth,
and we are going
yes.
to leave them there until we
Yeah,
have a
'cause
really
they are
big
in a-
space. Yes.
they
those
are
things.
in a
I've never seen them, but there are
standard.
14 bankers boxes that are
Right.
kept down there. But we've got a lot of artifacts that we keep here and as well as a lot of documents and everything. So eventually we'll hopefully have a spot that is made specifically for museum artifacts.
right,
We can
maybe
keep them
even a
there.
museum.
Maybe a museum someday, but yeah, right now we've got our little window and you know,
Right.
that works. So.
Good. So in looking at the email, Dan, I think you're correct. It really talks about another issue. About the provenance of the material that the town passed to you.
Yes.
There's no record of us actually transferring that, so I think we need to,
Patty and I are working on it.
yep, okay,
Okay.
that's what
Because
that.
initially, we
right.
just, the town
Said,
was
"Come
keeping
get it."
everything in two
Right here,
upright
yeah.
cabinets right here in the basement, and it was not accessible to anybody, and nobody knew anything about it, except for the couple of people,
Right.
Brenda.
Yeah.
Right.
Conklin had cataloged everything, and then when we took over, we came in,
Right.
the town moved the cabinets for us, moved all the contents, and we set it all up, and then we started cataloging and archiving everything, so.
So the question for the board is, are we fine with making this material a gift to the Historical Society?
This was 2018, 2019.
2018.
2018.
Right.
To this point, we have been the
Yeah.
caretakers of the town's collection, the 2018 collection. That's when we took it over. It's 2018, and we've been the caretakers. Because you never knew whether the society was going to take off or not.
Sure.
Right.
And my feeling was when we started the whole thing was if we should ever become defunct, I wanted to be able to return everything to the town.
Yeah.
So I didn't want it ending up in someone's basement.
Right.
So I think we've got a good track record. We've got some
Right.
very active members, and I think the society will sustain itself. So
That could still happen,
it can still happen with any organization.
right?
I mean, you know,
So-
you lose your members and your.
Well, we
I
can,
don't have an issue with.
we
that,
can
Rich.
gift it, but have a language that if for some reason the Historical Society goes belly up or folds, defunct, that the material returns
Exactly.
back
Yeah,
to the
and that's what
town.
it should be. It should be
Yeah.
for the town.
Okay, so you and Patty are working some kind of legal
Yeah, that would. work.
documentation for that?
Yeah, when we have some options ready, we'll present them. to
Okay,
you.
good, no,
Yeah, I
that's a
know.
good direction.
Yeah.
See the 10K as being.
Yeah, I think what we'll need, and if you could, while you're talking to Patty on that, if you could get us something in writing along the lines of what Reggie said. You know, basically first requesting the 10,000, unless she has, and it just isn't the email that you did provide us.
It was more verbal in our discussion, but I didn't see it written down in that
No,
email. but
yeah,
I can
so,
ask her to have that now.
An email is fine, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The overall amount they want and a description of, and it doesn't have to be detailed to the
Mhm.
dollar a penny, but just some detail as to
Okay.
what the money will be spent on.
Good.
I think that's what we required in the past.
Okay, very good.
All righty, thank you. Thank you, Reggie. And before I get to community power, we need the same thing from WVAIA.
We do.
We haven't received, we don't even know if they want the 10,000. I assume they do. Years past, they gave us, an accounting, a balance sheet of what their projects were and what this money was, how this money from the town fits into their
Mhm.
projects. So we still need something from AIA. Again, just backstopping the.
Yep.
For record keeping legal purposes. All right, that brings us to community power, which is a little different in that the community power committee is actually a select board committee, and you're asking for a warrant article. I think the last time we did this was it last year or last year for $2,000, which is for basically marketing and advertisement. Thought what you guys thought you'd need once the program started to get up and running, to push out all the info in paper form for people to understand, right? So, but now you come to us again and have at it. So please come and tell us who you are and.
Just the other piece of that with that
Mm.
ask last year, that warrant article ask of $2,000, that did establish, so everyone knows, a capital reserve account.
That's
for it.
right. That's an important point. So we do have a place to park any money that the town gives, that the town, well, isn't it that the select board decides to put into that capital reserve account,
Yeah,
right?
and we'll talk a little bit more about
Mhm.
other things we want to do with that reserve fund.
Okay,
Jason Flegel, representing the Community Power Committee. When we last spoke, it was about, I think a little over a month ago, we were in this room together. And we made a commitment to keep everybody here appraised on what we were doing. And the goal here today is to follow up on that and we've talked about a number of things, the Community Power Committee, the negotiations that we're about to undertake for utility rates, not
Mhm.
utility rates, but power rates. And also we have this issue of the warrant article ask that we've been talking about. And so what we want to do is put all of that in context, give everybody an update on where we are, how those things all fit together. And we also have a couple of housekeeping items that we want to talk about as well to help move all of
Sure.
this along. So, Lisa, you can, thank you. So this is the general table of contents and mostly what I was just talking about. So we want to talk about what our objectives are over the next 12 to 18 months. And that involves everything here that I mentioned a minute ago. So there's the Community Power Committee rate negotiations, what we're trying to accomplish out of that and the timeline. Then we're going to talk about the solar project initiative, how the warrant article request works into the overall process and what we want to accomplish there. where that stands. The next item then sort of ties these two things together and explains how they're related and how they interact with each other. And then we've provided to keep this presentation short, we backloaded a lot of the detail, everything supporting what we're going to talk about in appendix, so you just have it for your records.
Could we get a copy? I don't think it came in the packet, this particular presentation.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if I need to send anything, that's fine as well.
No, she's already got it, so she just has to just email it to us. Okay, please, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Next slide. So this really encapsulates everything that we want to accomplish over the next 12 to 18 months. And it includes everything that I talked about earlier. So first thing we want to do is we've created this community power committee. And the first objective of this is to negotiate the kilowatt hour rates that will be available to the residents of Waterville Valley. And what we want to do is we're going to engage with this ECM Power. And so the two housekeeping asks that we have, and Steve is working with us on this, are twofold. One is we need to, so now we are an entity that is recognized by the New Hampshire PUC, Public Utilities Commission, as an entity that is authorized to negotiate electricity rates. This isn't the utilities, this is the rates from the actual suppliers of the electricity. And so the first thing that we need to do there is we've got to get that letter signed. And I believe if you need anything further from us, let us know, Steve.
Sure.
So we need that letter that essentially designates ECM Power as our partner working with us to engage with the community to negotiate electricity rates. And then a huge part of that is that, and we can't really even start that after, even though we sign it, we have to get that information from New Hampshire Electric Co-op that shows what the current usage is and all of the information that we need to actually undertake the negotiations.
Yep.
So though, and that's, I think that's been, and you can all add anything that I'm missing, but that's been a holdup in terms of what we really need to get started with the negotiation is to get that those metrics. So they actually need you to request it, and then once you get that, you can share it with us. That's my understanding of that process.
Okay.
So are there any questions or any concerns about that?
No, I think so. We engaged with EMC.
Yeah,
ECM.
ECM, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
just
Emily
about
did.
two weeks ago now, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah, it was based
Yeah.
on our approval to change,
Right.
to agree to
Correct.
change
Yeah.
it, right?
So I started getting emails from Emily just about a week ago with a
Mhm.
lot of information being requested, and I'm reviewing them, and we'll get to it.
Okay, and if there's anything you need, you can contact me, you can
Absolutely.
contact the rest of us, and we'll get you whatever you need
Great.
for that. And as we say here, you've been working with us to help make those things happen. The other thing that we want to accomplish is we would like the support of the select board for the warrant article. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how that fits into the solar project, and how that also fits into the overall objective of what we're trying to accomplish here at the committee. We want to, the cost of that solar project is more than $25,000, but we have a couple of ways that we're going to try to supplement the revenue required to fund that project. One of the things is there may be matching grants available that can supplement those funds. The other thing is this reserve fund, we have the ability when we're negotiating rates to attribute a portion of the savings and accumulate that in a fund. So as an example, if we are able to create savings, let's say of kilowatt hours of 2 cents a kilowatt hour, I'm making these numbers up. We could designate, let's say, tenths of a penny a mill, which I was reminded of what a mill was recently.
No, we, yeah.
Up to, let's say up to a half a penny. So when you multiply that by the total usage of kilowatt hours, you start to accumulate these funds that can be added to whatever else we're able to get in addition to the warrant, in addition to any grants. So what we're trying to do is rather than asking for 75,000 and asking the town for that, we want to earn our way to the ability to fund that solar project. We'll talk
Yes.
about why we think
Can I
that
ask you
solar
a quick
project.
question?
Sure.
Is the capital reserve fund an appropriate place for putting those funds? From a legal perspective?
I
If you
think
were
that's
to-
the point of that fund is that you
Yeah.
can use it for that.
Yeah.
When we set it up, the language.
Yeah.
Would be key. I'd have to look at the
Well,
language,
yeah,
but I
don't
think
know
the whole
if
intent
it
of
is or
it was to
not, it may
create,
be, but I just want
was
to
to
make
create a
sure
reserve fund,
that we're not
for
like
use. No, I don't think,
ending up their hands.
well, we can
tied.
check again with
No,
town
there,
council.
there are bylaws or there is verbiage that I believe does say you can appropriate funds on that basis. And that was a significant part of the establishment of the.
Right, we ran that
But we
through
can-
town council, but we
Yeah.
can certainly double check this
Mhm.
year.
Yes. We are looking at implementing that solar pilot in 2027, which we can talk about a little bit further. And then what we want to do is, all of this is about our having more control and agency, self-determination over how we source our energy, how we pay for it, and how we have a bit more control over our fate as it pertains to this. And it's a big deal that we're able to do this, and we think it's important. So the rest of, as we proceed here, we'll tie this together. So these are the objectives and timeline. So we're going to talk about the community power program, then we're going to talk about the solar a little bit, and we're going to tie those things together at the end of this presentation. So the first objective is we want to secure a long-term rate agreement. So we want something, I think we've talked about maybe up to 2 years if possible, so that we're locked into the new rates for that period of time. And then from that rate, and we're going to use this information that we're able to obtain to use that to negotiate. It's also possible, if not likely, that we will collectively do this with other towns and try to pool the total amount of electricity used so that we can get, for lack of a better word, volume discounts to get a lower price per kilowatt hour of electricity. And then the second is what I referred to earlier, is the reserve fund, where we can apply some aspect of the savings to accumulate funds for not just the solar project, but other things that we may want to do here. And so this here shows the general timeline. We want to get started, ideally the end of January, early February, when the market is a little more friendly to this type of negotiation. And we want to have that done hopefully by the middle of this year.
How's it looking this year? I know that's, you haven't been able to pull the trigger now, what, for 2 years?
Right. So I asked Emily that, and I would say she's cautiously optimistic about what we'll be able to define there in terms of the market. I'm happy to look to,
I can't guess on that.
yeah.
No, I'm just wondering if you're seeing any, be able to read the tea leaves,
I asked her that question, and
Right.
she's not going to go on a limb at this point, but I think she said when we get all the information, when we get a little bit further in terms of who we can negotiate with, how we can pool,
right,
the buying power, that will help.
as well as what NHEC is charging. So I mean, that's kind of the
Yeah, I mean, that's
baseline, right?
That's the baseline, but that's really a separate issue than the
Yeah.
actual suppliers of the.
Right, no, I
Which took
understand.
me a while to
Right.
appreciate, by the way, but
Right,
I'm getting,
go ahead.
as I get more familiar, I'm getting more conversant with that. So, this was really background, and I think we've talked about this before. So there was a survey done that essentially established the, the need and the residents' appetite for this kind of power in the community. And so there was 60% support for it. It's something that generally people in this town would like to see happen. And so I think it's important that we just remind everyone that we take this as somewhat of our mandate to try to do something, and really not do it for the purpose of doing it, but towards the purpose of furthering the overall objective of sort of this,
Mhm.
agency and independence and more leverage as we enter into these negotiations. I'll talk about it a little bit later. Next slide. So this is the DPW site. So this was one of the things that factored into our decision not to ask for all the money up front. So originally, we realized that this would be a $75,000 initiative all told. When we spoke with Megan, I think it was in October, we visited you and we talked about some of the things that the DPW is working on in terms of some maintenance things and other things they wanted to do. And really, we felt that 2026, even if we had the money, was probably overly ambitious. And so why not take that extra year to come up with other supplemental funding options so that we don't have to ask for the whole thing at once? And it gives us a chance to really make the solar project a part of the overall community power committee objectives and not just a standalone. So that fed into and was a factor in our decision to take this approach to the solar project. Next slide. So this is more of an articulation of kind of how we're thinking about this. So as an example, if we can get started with that $25,000 warrant for 2026, we then enter into negotiations. The negotiations yield some level of savings. Of that savings, we're able to apportion some amount of that to the reserve fund. We then combine that with what we're able to get in terms of any matching programs, and we get over the next 12 to 18 months closer to what we're going to need to fund the first part of the solar project. And so those are just the details of how we get to that. You'll see the term adder in there, and that's something, Dan, to your point, that's the actual technical term that we use in the document that gives you the right to apportion that money over to projects such as this. And that's what we have. I think we are in the process of getting that added to our document that is on file. Next slide. So here's where we actually combine the timelines. The blue timeline is the community power initiative with negotiating the rates. The green is where on the timeline the solar project will fall into. So you see certain things have to happen in order for us to be able to move forward with the other. And the way I think of this, and it's one of my last points on this, is, when you're negotiating your electricity rates or anything really that you're negotiating, you've got a couple of things you can do to give yourself more leverage. One is you can collectively work with other people, so you're buying more and you have more power, more buying power. The other thing you can do is you can have your own product. You can make your own power. And I think, as you look at other towns and what they have done, it makes a statement that, look, we are willing to be self-sufficient if we need to in certain respects. And that's the kind of thing that helps you with these negotiations. And the more that we can establish our town as one that is willing to do things like that and is willing to be creative and willing to be bold about some of this, I think it's an important thing. It's an important message for us to send. And so I see these as the same thing, not two different unrelated projects.
Okay.
Next slide. So these are just the, this and the one after that are part of the appendix. This goes into all of the metrics of what the solar project will generate, how the economics of that work out. I believe that this would generate about 25,000 kilowatt hours a year, but we need to learn things about, well, how productive are these? Do these panels really generate 1.5 kilowatt hours a panel per day? Is it more than that? Is it less? How does snow affect those? I've read where it actually doesn't hurt the performance, but I've also talked to people that says it might, hurt the performance. We need to learn. This is where we learn how solar power works in this area, in this town. How does that productivity, as you see here, those yellow lines of what the power that is produced, is that accurate? Are we overstating the summer, what it can do? Are we understating the winter? These are all things we need to understand and learn so that we can scale this in the future. And that's what one of the objectives of this initiative are. And then the last slide, I believe, it just goes through all the economics that we've developed behind it. So that's everything we wanted to present. If I've left anything out or anything else my peers want to add?
Is the cost of the battery that we were talking about for the garage?
That's not in there.
Not in there?
That's not in here because we don't think it's really on our side of the street. This is the backup power.
Right, no, that should come from
Issue on
DPW.
the DPW.
Yeah.
Maybe the only other thing I would add is that we're working with SolSmart, which is a national solar company funded by the federal government to help us make sure that we do understand everything that we're doing. They're helping us write the RFP and interpreting all the bids that we get back, and they're hand-holding us all through that. So we'll have experts, with us.
Any
Well,
other
thank you.
questions?
No, I think that was very, very informative. Thank you for the update and the details. I look forward to sitting down and reading this, but I think the bottom line ask is you would like the select board to support and author a warrant article on behalf, for the town. I mean, you're a town structure for $25,000 to be approved and put into the current existing CPC Capital Reserve
Yes.
Fund.
That's it.
Okay, and we still haven't gotten through all our budget discussions, but I got it. Yes, I see some from the audience. Yeah.
Is this gonna be voluntary or not?
You can, it will be voluntary.
All right, and then I heard you said the objections, I can't read them. Hang on, but is it gonna be cheaper?
Yes,
Is that the objection?
we won't do this if it's not cheaper.
All right.
I mean,
That's why they haven't pulled the trigger
All
on,
right. All right, I
on
didn't
this
see it.
program.
I didn't hear that.
And I've asked, to your first question, Craig, I've asked the question, well, what can we expect? And I've been told in excess, generally, when towns do this, they're 80 to 85% of the residents opt in, or they stay in and
Right.
don't opt out.
Only thing, and I'm sure this is much different, but out down in Massachusetts, I had a bunch of commercial properties, and when this thing first came out, everybody was selling me power, and it ended up being a disaster, but that wasn't an organization like you, it was like the independent power companies were calling me.
Yeah.
And it was a nightmare to get out of this stuff. I mean, they lock you in for like 5 years and then they jack.
No, you-
Yeah, this isn't like that.
Yeah.
You can opt out anytime.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
at the next meter read, you're out.
And
you
your
would be right back.
objective is obviously cheaper.
Yes. That's the point. Yes, I see a
Thank you.
hand up, yeah.
Just a quick question. So I live in Campton, so we just went through this last year.
No,
I had put solar panels on my house and because of that was not allowed to opt in. Is that still
Oh.
how it works
That's different.
nowadays?
I don't think, and I
I've heard
think
that
the other question is there's a whole in front of versus behind the meter question. So were you still connected to the utility, or were you
Yeah, it's a
off
net,
the grid?
it's a net metering.
So you were in
So I-
front of the meter,
Right.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think it's the net metering aspect of it that changes it so that you
Which-
cannot.
Which most people are, because
Right.
you can't, most of the time, you can't depend on solar panels for all of your demand.
Yeah.
So most people are net metered, some have
Yeah.
backup batteries,
Yeah.
which instead of a generator.
no power.
But it's just, cause I have no idea, but I see solar panels on houses in Waterville Valley, so I know
Yeah.
there will be some people that won't be able to opt in even if they want to, if that rule is still in place.
I think they are, right?
Yeah, I don't think I could participate. I have solar panels as well. But there aren't that many houses with the solar panels. There are
Two.
few.
Well, no, there's more than that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jason. Very, very interesting, very helpful. Right. And we will be back at you when we do our budget discussions. Very helpful. Okay, let's move on to the transfer station placard update. So the background here is that, thanks again, guys, is that, it was always the intent to move away from, the stickers, the decal into a placard, for, access to and use of the transfer station. And I think the plan was to run with the decals for a couple of years, which we've done, and I think it was 26 that'll give us time to get everything set. I see we have different, what we're talking about for placards. People will put on their rear view mirror.
I wanted,
Go ahead.
I thought Megan a couple months ago had drafted up this application, so it's a transfer station sticker application, and this would be something new, obviously, to our transfer station operation, so I thought today may be a good time for Megan to present to
Sure.
the board what the intent is of the application, how it might help us control the permitting
Issuance, right.
issuance, and with that, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, obviously, we know how the stickers went with mailing them out. Both the admin office staff and our staff down at the transfer station went through some headaches with them, people saying, you know, they didn't receive them, or, oh, I just threw it away, you know. So something to help at least streamline the process would be just to send out an application. And then, so that way, you know, if they happen to not get it and they come down here, we'll still have applications down here for them to be able to fill out.
So it'll not be automatic. If you have a decal, you still need to apply
Correct.
to get the
It will not be
placard.
automatic.
Okay,
We have a different tracking system internally, that will be down there for us at least. We're trying to pull the job duties away from, town staff up here. So that way it's easier for us to keep track of who has actually been issued permits, who is, you know, are truly in town, and not just here for, you know, a weekend, which is why the yellow one, the paper one that's there, wanted to talk to y'all about anyways. The yellow one would be a temporary one, so, you know, someone comes in on a Thursday, says, you know, I'm here for the weekend. Can I get a decal, right? Want to be able to possibly charge a flat fee for the temporary ones. You'll see that there's different stamps on there, so we'll kind of go through a different stamp every few months, so they're not being reused. But it will be stamped when it expires.
yeah, why would someone need a,
We have a lot of people come in who are skiing for the weekend and say, oh, I'm staying at XYZ. I don't have a sticker.
but shouldn't XYZ have a sticker?
Yeah, they wouldn't use the resident, like the resident wouldn't leave a placard for them to use.
What we're told is, oh, well, they didn't leave one for me.
Yeah, well, that's something I
So,
think,
Um,
I don't know, this seems like an unnecessary complication, frankly. We give out placards just like stickers, and if a resident is renting out their place, they leave one for the renter. I mean, I'm not,
So
why would you want to be more complicated than that?
It's also for any other contractors, who are doing temporary work, but not temporary work throughout the valley.
On what? On private
On-
residences? You were
Correct,
talking
yes.
about
But there's a-
remods?
There's a contractor one.
The
Yeah.
contractor ones is for in-town contractors, Right Angle,
Right,
Valley Run. They regularly pick up trash from dumpsters that have overflowed and bring it to the
Right.
transfer station.
so someone who hires a contractor that is not, let me put it this way, registered with us. Again, what they're saying that the current sticker wouldn't hold. I mean, if the owner of that property came and delivered it instead of the contractor, they'd use their resident sticker, correct?
One would assume so.
Right. I'm just trying to keep this thing simple.
Yeah.
The state would love that.
The one I don't have a problem with using a placard instead of the sticker. However, I do believe that most homeowners, if you will, have two cars. And they would like to have one for each car. And I don't agree with the additional $5 for the second.
I think people get we give them two
I think
stickers,
you
right?
get, yeah,
Or
we
give
get
them
two
two-
stickers. I
well,
think we
give them
get two of
two.
these.
Two of those, yeah,
The stickers are stationary, a placard is not.
right,
You could switch them between
Right.
vehicles.
they could do
Which is
that.
why a second
Yeah.
one I did not make.
I can tell you that doesn't work in my house. We have, my wife has a handicap placard. And we have actually one in each car. We had at one point one in one car. And the amount of times you leave one in one car and you're in the other car and need the one in the other car is, it just
Well,
goes through the roof.
the reason why we went to two decals was for people who do want to have proof, leave it at their condo or the house, whether they're guests or whether they're renting. I think that would still hold. I'm just thinking people maybe rent out their condo. Yeah, but they want to make sure when they come and go, the owner has their placard in their glove compartment that they pull out, and when they're in Waterville Valley, they can put in. But they don't have to worry about someone driving away with their placard. It should go as part of the rental. No, I mean.
Which, I mean, could also be for the paper ones, so they're not worrying about people taking it all of the time.
Let me see this, please.
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously, we need to talk about it a little more. We're not a little bit more. We're not talking about instituting this right away.
No.
When we hope to do this in 26, so. Well, we just started. Give us, we're only 7 days in.
Is the intent for this to be only for a single day?
No, so, like I said, you can see on there's a couple different stamps, but,
Well,
it will have the year, I did it as a multi-year, it'll have the year that it expires, the month and the day that it expires. So it'll have a date of which it is no longer good.
So identifies the expiration.
Yes.
And then is when it's distributed is obviously the first day, but you don't have to mark that.
And you're gonna sell that down here?
Well, I don't think we've decided exactly what we're gonna do.
well,
My idea for the whole process was to simply switch out the placards for the decals.
yeah.
And not make it any more complicated than that. That was the original intent of the idea being a placard is more mobile, if you would. That people, if they have more than one car or more than two cars, they could, or they rent a place, they could use the placard to do it. Seems to me that's, I don't know, I have to think about it some more. I'm not sure. The transfer station temporary could, I don't know. I'm still thinking through it.
The application process in itself, is
Yeah.
that what you're referring to being a little cumbersome? Because I know that a transfer station application process in a lot of towns of New Hampshire
Hmm.
is common.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not just you get in the mail a sticker that you can
Right.
use.
And we debated that. We
Yeah.
debated that whole issue. We decided with being proactive about it, but I think the idea was just to get something going.
Yeah.
Because we were under pressure from
Waste management.
Waste Management
Yeah.
State to get it up and running. We were flirting with hefty fines. So we said, let's just get this up and running and get the stickers out in the mail. And that caused, as you said, Megan, all sorts of issues of people saying they're not getting it. And, some people have 5 stickers, some people are still searching for their 1 sticker, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the idea was eventually, after 2 years, move into the placard system.
Yeah.
And so I would think that if we're trying to get this back under control, that this is something you can, I don't find it cumbersome to request to apply for a placard, so that's on record.
Yeah, but the problems with the short-term rentals.
Yeah.
And some towns on the Cape would sell bags, actually the trash bags themselves.
Right.
They would sell like 20
Right,
bags. to
yeah,
the
we-
owner,
and
they would-
and we looked at that, but I think we decided we didn't want to go down that
That's
route.
Not
but-
administrative.
I think if you have 2 placards, I mean, you can deal with the short term short-term rental issue or any rental issue, short-term, long-term,
They're leaving
medium-term.
town on Sunday.
That's what my.
They're
paper
gonna
radio
keep
was
going with
to-
it in their car, yeah.
Right, well, but there are ways to operationally deal with that, I mean.
So the paper version isn't
the paper version
discussed
is not
in your-
listed
Wait a minute, just time out. Why can't this person who's living on their way out, why can't they do that earlier, go back, finish loading and then leave? Tell me why
I've been
that's,
on vacation.
that, well, yeah, well, I do
So think
vacations.
I know.
Yeah, well, then that's between the renter and
could,
the
but-
person. I mean,
I'd like to.
there is agency
I
here
think
that
we need
people
to-
have.
I know, but I think we need to think about it a bit more thoroughly. you
Okay,
know,
I'm for that.
Especially when we're talking about relooking at the STRs and that process.
Right,
Having these paper tags. for
maybe this,
short-term rentals
maybe the way to
Could
do
be a
it.
way to help control, we know it's happening with SD. I don't know, like I said, I'd like to think about it a little bit more.
Right.
I-
No, that
I
could be a
kind of-
good use of
I
it.
Sell
see
10
the
of them.
value of that.
Sell 10 of them.
Exactly, have a bundle that you
And they
can
put it
leave.
in a
Alright.
rental contract or whatever.
I
Yeah,
think the
we
only,
need one for each.
Yeah, each
Weekend.
weekend.
yeah,
You will need this to get rid of your trash.
Okay,
exactly,
I mean,
let's think about it some more.
I think
All
the
right.
idea is to keep Megan not doing this.
exactly.
Oh, that's what I'm
Make
concerned
it-
about with the,
Full
with,
customer service
with-
oriented.
with the temporary.
Yeah,
You wanna make it
Okay.
easy for the citizen or else they're just not gonna do it.
yes. And I can envision so many people for Pete's sakes, our college kids will drive off with their resident placard, never mind their renters.
Right. Right,
It'll happen.
all right.
What is the
Well,
policy now on the sticker?
you gotta have a
Gotta
sticker
You get
How do you
two,
get one?
you get two for
You get
free,
two?
the third's $10
as a property owner.
for property owner.
Well, how many properties can you own?
Well,
many as you
as
can
many as you can afford, I suppose.
So if you own 5 properties, you can.
You'll get 10 stickers free of charge.
Is that what-
Per dwelling.
All right, so we're gonna talk, but I think we do want to move to the placard. I think that
Yes.
is definitely continue with that plan. I think we just need to.
Fine tune a few things and.
Well, you're gonna talk about this idea of temporary. I see the benefits better now. But I also see the complications, and it's still something I think we'd like to do in 2026.
Yeah, I think it could be an interesting way to collect
That doesn't
data,
refer to.
the yellow one,
Yeah, well, we can change it to temporary if you want to make it clearer, potentially. Or you can get a big stamp. We already have these printed temp.
Yeah, no, I think it could give us some
Okay,
valuable insight as to what's happening.
there is that. That's right, in terms of data
Yeah.
collection as to how much of this is going, yeah.
If you require the FPR permit number to be written on.
Yes.
the Tag,
Right,
then you're differentiating those that are
Mhm.
legitimate STRs versus the ones that are not.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's a nice control mechanism there.
Good point.
Yeah,
All right.
All the STRs should have the permit right in the.
right,
wherever
right in
it
the
is.
doorway,
Well, like you
yeah,
said, if you offer
10 penny.
a short-term rental person could buy a dozen tags in a lot for X amount of dollars. They can fill it out themselves and
Yeah.
say, they leave one for their renter, this is what you will need to
Yeah.
to discard
Yeah.
your trash.
Yeah.
STR permits written on, number is already written on there. And by that time, then you can tell whether it's a legitimate STR that's coming in or if it's blank.
right,
How did you get this and who's this for?
Okay,
exactly.
all righty. So what kind of timeline do you think we should look at? Dan, Wendy?
Visit at our next meeting,
We could revisit our next meeting and then make some solid decisions and then start doing it?
because the
Yeah,
SW
this-
working group will be meeting in the meantime.
Oh, okay, we'd like to,
And then
what, you
two.
guys want to weigh in on this? Give
Yeah,
us a
with
recommendation?
respect to
Right.
the application process and the placards, first off, the $5 for the second one is unacceptable to me.
Okay,
I believe that the application is fine. That, I don't see any issue at all with that. It's simple. It's, it's basically your address and you want 2 tags or 1. It's pretty simple. So I don't see that as an issue
okay,
with that.
all right, we'll look at it.
The temporary one, I just think we need a little more information to understand that better. We've had a lot of ideas tossed out here tonight about how to use it. I'm not inherently against it, I don't think the circumstances are clarified enough for us,
Right.
because there are different options.
Well, let's think about it and let's come back at it. So if you can add it as an agenda item, Steve, for the
Yeah.
21st.
Yep.
January, and then we can move from there and
Sure thing.
get this change over. I think that works for everybody. Okay. Was there anything else on this you wanted to talk about, Megan? Are you happy with it? All right, we're going with it right now. Okay. Let's move on then to the end of year 2024 closeout. Finally, 2024 closeout.
2025.
Five, yeah,
Closeout.
okay, that's better.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So from a financial perspective, we had, generally at this time of year, our first select board meeting of the new year, we talk about, what happened in 25,
Right.
where from an unaudited standpoint, do we sit financially?
Mhm.
So I outlined just a few things. Number one, our abatements for 2025 fell just shy of $3,000.
Okay,
Wasn't a big year in abatements for us whatsoever. I provided you a financial report that shows the expenditures and revenues for the year. Made a small change to that report where I was a little more intentional at the bottom of the expenditure sheet to highlight the capital appropriations.
Yeah, but they don't tally.
Yep, okay, thank you, Wendy.
No,
So again,
what is
it-
appropriated, they don't tally.
It's a work in
So,
progress,
okay.
right? So this is just kind of an outline of kind of a thought process that I had going forward. You're gonna see, I'd like you to see your entire operating budget by GL. I'd like you to also
Right.
see capital appropriations through
Right.
warrant articles that were made. And we also want you to see encumbrances
Mhm.
that have
Mhm.
happened year over year.
Yeah, yeah.
Historically,
important.
the town, so an encumbrance is when you have a special warrant article and your special warrant article does not get fully expended for the year, you have the ability to encumber the balance into the next year, so it just doesn't fall into your fund balance account. So we have historically encumbered a lot of balances, and our auditor has told us that it's not best practice. A better practice would be, so for example, say if you had a warrant article for $750,000 for a new fire engine. We got a special, it came in at $550,000. So you'd have a balance of $200,000, and to rather encumber those funds into the next year, a better practice is to allow those funds to lapse into fund balance. And if you wanted to, chief, reappropriate those funds for fire apparatuses into the next year, you'd present a new warrant article at town meeting to reappropriate that. So the town is a little more transparent in terms of what is happening with those
Unexpended
with those
funds.
unexpended
Does
funds.
that work with roads too?
With roads?
Yeah.
Yeah, if we had, I mean, it's a little different when you talk,
Right?
well, it's different when you talk about bonded monies. Monies that are generated through general taxation, it's a little easier to do that. When you're talking about bonded warrant articles, there's some complications that arise there. I'm not super fluent in that right now, Greg, but
All right, well, that's a different,
200,000 that we're going to appropriate for kind of like along this way. I never saw that before either.
I don't understand what you're talking about, Craig.
so let me just finish, Greg, if you don't mind. I think it's gonna be important for us to look at the encumbrances year over year. And
All right, yeah,
I'm
you
working
convinced
with,
me.
yeah, I'm
Okay.
working with Katie right now to present to you at your next select board meeting, kind of a snapshot of where all those encumbered monies stand and what our recommendations and ultimately your recommendations
Right.
are.
Going forward with
going
those
forward for
funds.
2025.
Either close them out or going forward.
Exactly.
Yeah, we do that anyway, but we don't, it's not broken out the way you're talking about.
Yeah,
We should break it out to be more transparent.
well, I think it
Okay.
would be helpful to look at those at least on a monthly basis, if not quarterly, just to keep
Sure.
tabs on where we are with those.
That's fine.
Accounts. So with that being said, the financial report, obviously depicts that we have probably one of our largest contributions to our fund balance that we've had. At least
Mhm.
since I've been here and probably for a long, long time, primarily due to staffing issues that we have had. So
Mhm.
our wastewater
that
department had a couple of positions that were open all year long that we were not able to fill. We had obviously a departure in our administration department that is shown in a balance there in the admin line.
So for the record, we're in the black
And
three
public
hundred and
works.
$370,000
We had another applicant.
Yep.
$370,000 in the black end of year at this point.
Expenditures, yeah.
Expenditures, but there's still revenue to come in, no? Or not?
No, the revenue is pretty much tied
Tied
out
up.
and there are some more expenditures that we will probably see hit 2025 as January rolls on and we get our
Right.
utility bills.
Bills and all of that.
Yeah,
So
but-
what's,
I'd say 350,
the bottom line is 350 for expenses and revenues.
350 in savings and expenditures. And then revenues, we're looking at over collected by about $170,000.
Right.
Some of the primary drivers around that were the FEMA, unexpected FEMA disbursements that we received $130,000 of. Yep. 50 tomorrow from the sale of our ambulance.
So for our budget discussions, what's the bottom line
Well,
number?
What I'm looking at right now is if we consider $500,000 lapsing
Mhm.
into fund balance, we'll have a total fund balance of just about $1.2 million.
Right. If we took the full amount, instead not using it to
Correct.
purchase anything.
To
for
offset any of our
2026.
warrant articles.
Right.
Right.
So 1.25 million in fund balance is about 11%, 12% of the range,
Yeah.
basically. And the healthy range of our fund balance with the operating budget that we have is between 7 and 15%. So we're sitting very comfortable at $1.2 million in fund balance. From DRA's
Right,
perspective.
okay,
Right, but yeah, we still have to talk about whether we would use it to offset.
right, whether we're gonna,
Yeah,
Right.
you can use it to offset warrant articles at town
Yeah.
meeting,
Yep.
or we could use it to offset the
Right.
tax rate impact in October.
October, right,
Right.
all right,
But there was a $200,000 warrant article on last year's budget for extra stuff.
I don't remember such a warrant article.
Yeah, specific.
Yeah, which one?
I guess I'd have to look at it, but I mean, I was questioning it at the time. He wanted the 200,000 for emergency stuff,
Well, no, if you're talking about our contingency fund,
or whatever you call it.
but it wasn't that much. I think we dropped the contingency down to
95.
75 or 95.
95.
Yeah, we've always had a contingency fund. Yeah. But that's not a separate warrant article.
And were all the roads bonded?
Road projects for last year, I think we bonded $2.4 million. Yep, for Boulder Path.
Yeah.
And some of Snow's Mountain Engineering.
So, this kind of discussion we can have at our bond and budget hearing, which are coming up really soon, I think 11 February, no, 10 February.
Correct.
So you can raise those issues at that time and say, what happened to this money? Yeah, that would be a good place to do it. Sure, people will be attending those. Okay, let's move on. If no one has any other questions on this item,
No.
let's move on to old business, and we asked Bill to take a look at 3 or 4 of our projects, future road projects, but that is Boulder Path and Snow's Mountain, Brooklyn Pond dredging, and the remediation of the former town landfill, which is the Britain Rec Land now. I think there was one other, and I'm struggling to remember off the top of my head what else we saddled you with. Well, it's just the road projects in general, I suppose, right?
Road projects in general and the culvert.
Oh, that's right, the culvert on Valley.
Valley Road.
Right.
If we want to talk about that today
Well,
also.
whatever you're prepared to talk about.
Okay.
Let's have at it.
So, let's start with Snow's Mountain and Boulder Path. So, this packet is a copy of the wetland permit application for Snows Mountain, which has been submitted.
Mhm.
I see no issues that won't get approved. It's very well done by HEB. So I think that's gonna come out okay. One is not in their estimation, and I agree, one is not needed, wetland permit for Boulder Path because there are no significant wetland issues associated with that project. So that's been done, that's moving forward. The two plans that you have there in front of you are ones that the town received as of November 6th and 5th. Those are two, as if the town was gonna go forward with two separate contracts. At the meeting that we had with HEB couple months ago, it was agreed that because of all of the connected actions between the two projects, i.e. the connection of the water lines and potential sewer lines.
Right.
That it made more sense to combine those two projects into one large project that probably would still take 2
2 years.
construction seasons to complete. But that way, everything could be done in a logical,
Coordinated.
logical
Right.
manner.
Sure.
So talked to Josh over at HEB this week. They are hoping to have that package done by Friday this week, by the end of this week, along with the cost estimates associated with those, so that we can move forward with starting to think about the warrant, specifically for the Snows Mountain component that's going to have to be voted on at town meeting.
Right.
One thing that came up yesterday was an email from Josh to the town because of the probable, not possible, but probable amount of ledge that we all kind of know is up there based upon
All the water line breaks we have.
things that we've already dealt with. Josh or HEB only did a geotechnical exploration down to 6 feet. We know the water line is going to have to be deeper than that. And a potential sewer line, if approved, is going to have to be deeper than that. So he is suggesting that we go down to 15 feet with the geological exploration, which involves 20 borings, basically, to the tune of a little over $15,000. I think it's a good idea. Otherwise, they will estimate based upon kind of common knowledge that there's ledge down there somewhere. And they'll estimate that for the whole project, basically a amount of ledge if we don't do some exploration. The positive thing on this particular specific subject is, you may recall, we removed the geotechnical exploration on
Lost Pass.
on Lost Pass, because we're not going deep
Cascade Ridge as well.
on Cascade, exactly.
Mhm.
And so there's some savings there as a result of not doing that on that project that the town could apply to this project. So I recommend that you move forward with doing that so that we can get a more accurate estimate on where the ledge is, how much ledge there is that's going to have to be dealt with in the contract.
And this is
Mhm.
Snows Mountain
Yes,
up there.
yes, for Snows Mountain.
Thanks for taking the time to read through that email today, Bill.
Yeah,
What was the depth again? Are they recommending
15.
15? Okay.
Okay.
Now, we already have, what, 1.86 for 1.86 million for Boulder Path, is that correct?
Boulder Path, yeah, 1.7, I think was the
I think
estimate.
it was a little higher than that, but I think it's 1.86, but the is that a good number, do we still believe?
Well, we'll have to see what,
If we're tying the two projects.
what time,
in,
that's what we need. We need to have a briefing by HEB. Once they tie it together, we need to have a
Right.
sit down
We,
meeting with them
if
to answer your question.
if his goal comes through, we'll have numbers by this Friday or first part of next week, so we can start to see what the cost estimates are for both projects.
Okay, can I stop and ask a question? The CIP has numbers for
Mhm.
the Boulder Path project that
Mhm.
are, where are those numbers coming from?
Preliminary from HEB.
Okay, so that,
From their preliminary engineering report that they probably provided the town 6 months ago. I would say.
Yeah,
Just about.
that's,
It does not.
that number
It
is
does
based
not.
on, and we're gonna talk about, I hate to use the term scientific wag, but some of those are just, based upon their initial analysis and what the town wanted to do with Boulder Path, that's the best they can do at that time. Now, these are probably, I would say, 60% design. So they now are refining those numbers. I haven't seen the numbers or asked Josh what they are now, but hopefully we'll see them by Friday or first part of next week. So we'll have a better idea whether they're
Yeah, that's,
close to or the same or
no,
different.
that's critical. I mean, you raise an important question, is that,
we need those numbers for
Right,
the
well-
discussion on the CIP.
right, well, that's what I was saying, and once they get
Right.
those in, we have to have a meeting to discuss what the combined project.
Yeah.
So we know, how much we may have to ask for a warrant article for Snow's Mountain.
Right.
Right,
So Bill's ask
So
is,
Snow's Mountain in 3 pieces, correct?
yes, I mean,
Yeah,
road,
the
road,
CIP,
water,
And it was
road, water.
6.2,
6
million.
sounds about right, as I recall, and Snow's Mountain
2
for
million.
3, right?
I think on
6,
there.
that was the best number they had at the
Be
time.
a little higher.
Okay, and when we do our CIP discussion, this will be what we'll be talking about.
Yeah,
So water has always been included in So's Mountain.
Yes,
It's in, even in.
it was always
this
those two
component.
together, road rebuild and water.
Sewer will be included also, but it will be a separate item, an alternative. Based upon how the town votes on whether or not to include sewer in the project.
Can I just ask one question of Bill? That was-
If that's a promise. Okay.
That was, we received some water off the Stones Mountain Road from some of the drainage up there. Is there any way I mean, it's important, we're talking maybe 150,000 to 200,000 gallons a year off that road. We still need that water.
At the golf, you're talking
Yeah.
about the golf course?
You mean
Yeah.
off the road and into the
Yeah, I mean,
stream and then
more
into your pond?
environmental, safer way,
Mhm.
you know, especially an oil separator type thing. There was a truck on fire up there a couple of years ago, and I was like scared the tank.
Last year, yeah,
Was gonna
was it last year?
rupture. And then it would, all the diesel was going down the street. So there, you can make these separators, but I tried, we did get the notice for the, and I sent him an email, but Mark did say I could talk to the guy, but maybe I'll just talk to you.
Yeah, let me know what you're
I want
asking
water.
for.
I need
Yeah.
water.
Well, the water's all gonna get to you.
No, I mean, it depends what kind of drainage they designed. It
Yep.
depends not, maybe. It might go right to Bedrock and right to Mad River. I don't know.
Okay, let's talk,
I
'cause,
mean, we're grabbing surface water off. of
yeah,
the
I
road.
don't think this is
I
gonna
don't need it
change.
all, I need some.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna,
Yeah, we
This is
haven't
gonna
seen
change
yet.
that?
We haven't seen.
All right, that's fine.
what
That's
the drainage
what I'm
plan is.
asking, I guess.
Yeah,
Is if
no,
I
we
still-
haven't
I still
seen the
need that
drainage
wa-
plan.
Some amount of that water.
yeah,
In,
Okay.
in an environmentally safe way, let's call it.
Yep.
All right, so that would be cool. And then on Boulder, if we did the road cuts, I think we're all set on road
Yep.
cuts. I could,
they're in there.
is they gonna do a landscape plan on this, or what's the deal?
No, there should be. I
Yes.
mean, again, we haven't seen these yet,
Cause I
Craig.
I want a landscape, I took the 7 trees, I took 9 trees down.
Right.
I would like the landscape up to the granite, let's call it, the sidewalk, let's call it. And I'd just like to see what they're proposing too.
Yeah, well, I mean, like we've done in the past with Boulder Path, we'll do the same with Snow's Mountain. Once we get a chance to look at them,
Yeah, the Boulder thing.
you guys can talk and you can tell us what you
We
want.
did sign off, Megan did the road cut, so I think we're all cool on
Right.
that.
Yeah,
Right, well, the select board hasn't seen that yet. That's all I'm saying. We haven't seen these plans yet.
They're right there, right?
Yeah,
we haven't seen.
we
those.
haven't reviewed them.
these
Yeah.
So
are,
Bill, I'm concerned on Boulder is literally the road cuts, which I think we're all cool on.
yes,
And you are putting a water line on that road, right?
We don't know. That's why I'm saying, Craig, we haven't looked at these yet.
Yeah,
There've been some changes in the last few
I would
months.
like to see a water line on Boulder.
Again, let us look at the plans
Yeah.
and see what they call
But
for,
the big
and,
thing is
and we
on
will
Snows
court,
Mountain, I have no clue. Is,
all right.
and then,
All right. Let's, I'll get up here and.
Yeah, I'll
sit down. Well, let's,
it doesn't have to, I'm just saying, you
once we have the plans in hand, I'll
Yeah.
come and sit down with you and we'll look at them and see if.
Yeah, just as we've done in the past.
Cause I
It'll work.
can use as much water as I can get.
Yep,
All
I,
right,
I think you're gonna be okay.
all right, thank you.
All right, Greg, take care.
Okay,
Now, when can those borings be done?
As soon as possible.
Okay.
If we
So
move
weather-
forward.
So weather, temperature,
Yes.
not in, I mean,
That's,
I would
you
assume.
said 15,000?
holy geez, these things.
Do you, I believe it, 15 and change, yes.
Oh.
And, Dylan and I had,
16.
Dylan and I had a conversation about the exact situation today, because I wanted to get his thoughts, because he's been dealing with that water line for quite a few years. They're proposing a boring every 200 feet. And which is very logical if you think of the distance of that road. But if you have ledge at 10 feet on this boring and you don't do anything for the next 200 feet and you've got ledge at 5 feet between there and there, then
It doesn't work.
your estimate is gonna be way off.
Yeah.
And so, in conversation with Dylan, what I might suggest is that we look at the terrain, which they're good at doing, and saying, okay, we're pretty sure there's probably more ledge here than there.
Yeah.
Let's do more borings here
Yep.
than down there. After the S curve on Snows Mountain,
Right.
the sharp curve, because we know there's a lot of ledge on the uphill side.
Right.
The other option is to take the full amount of the funds that we saved on the other road project and say, do as many borings as you can for this amount of money. Their proposal, I think, along with some modifications of doing more borings where we think there is ledge for sure, and not as many where we're not as concerned.
No, I think we certainly want to have town staff input on how many and where those borings will be.
Yeah.
My only concern, as I shared with Bill, is the more information you have, the better
Sure.
the engineers are gonna be able to give us a cost estimate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the fewer changes you're gonna have down
Down
the
the,
road.
down the road,
So-
so to speak,
I mean, it could be savings, but it also could
So-
be,
not be,
Do we have a funding source for this?
for what?
Yeah, we, in our road money, we have a little,
Let's say 25,000.
we can absorb that.
Yeah, we have.
Okay,
we
so
have plenty
my
in there.
thinking,
we had 25,000 for the other road project.
Right.
well,
We decided, we agreed that wasn't necessary because we weren't going deep enough to need borings.
right, for my road.
Do you,
Yes,
do you think we need 40,000 to go towards borings? Are you saying
No,
we need that?
no,
Okay,
no.
okay,
But it sounds like we might need more than 15.
right. I think it
So-
would be good to have that adjustable.
the more you have, the
So-
more you pay for up front, but the better information you
And what
have
you
to
might
give,
save
to
later.
give you a better
Right.
engineer's estimate on what the costs are gonna
But
be
we,
So,
long run.
we have this money.
correct, but I
Yeah.
think 15 is probably going to be too low. And so my intuition says that we should approve something along the order of 25K, maybe an NTE. on
Well,
that.
I guess what I'm saying is, what, do we need to approve anything? We
No.
have a capital reserve
Right.
account with road
Correct.
money in it,
We just wanted to
So
be
we-
transparent.
right,
Yes.
so.
Oh, okay,
So
so we
we don't
don't
need-
have to vote on this.
No, we
No,
just,
the money-
Oh, okay.
So go and dig holes.
The money's already there.
Oh,
It's just a
Right.
matter how much.
Oh, that's a
that one
no-brainer.
Spend on Snows Mountain.
That's a
your drilling.
no-brainer.
Right.
Okay, so
Okay.
I'm hearing
And
25,000. I can go back to Josh and say, let's plan on 25,000
To get a good estimate.
and then agree that we want to do more here than there.
Right.
So that we get a
better,
Yeah,
a better
better
data.
picture. Maybe do them every 100 feet instead of every 200 feet.
Okay,
I'm a big fan of doing the job right the first time, so.
all right. Yeah, no,
So-
that sounds reasonable.
Okay,
All right,
I'll get back
So
to Josh
that's-
with that, or actually Steve, I think he'll need to hear that from you. I'm not allowed to spend your money.
Yeah.
So.
Okay,
If
I'll
you would,
email.
if you would respond, I'll talk to him, but in the meantime, if you would respond to that email.
Yep.
It's just CC me, so we
Just-
know. So before we leave this project,
Mhm.
right now Josh's plan is to actually have contract packages and go out to bid before town meeting.
Okay.
And his reasoning behind that is
God
you'll
bless
have
him if he can do
estimates,
it.
you'll have estimates,
Yeah.
which are just estimates.
Right.
Yeah,
By going out to bid, you'll have numbers,
Exactly.
not award, obviously, can't award before town meeting, but you'll have bids. So that you can adjust those up or down, who knows where the bids
Right.
will come in, but at least you'll have a much clearer picture of what the cost for
right.
this
And this is for the
project.
combined.
For the combined
Combined
project
project,
will
right.
be.
So
Okay.
the caveat there is that we have to put the warrant articles together with numbers.
And I'll address that.
And
So
if we don't-
his suggestion is put the warrant article together with their estimates. And then at the town meeting,
Amend.
with the knowledge
Amend.
the
Yes.
town
Right.
has or doesn't have that we've gone out for bids, then
We can make
you
amendments.
Yep.
make amendments.
Right.
You make amendments at the
Yeah.
town meeting
Exactly.
based
Yeah.
on the bids.
Okay.
Yeah, that's sort of SOP, I think, on some of the, in the past, we've done that.
Estimate high anyways.
Right.
They
Yeah.
typically add contingencies that are 10-15% higher than what
Correct.
their actual projected or estimated costs are.
Right.
So I think, purposes of this meeting, I think what we'd like to see, what the board would like to see is a meeting arranged. Once they get the combined plan and you've had a chance to review it, Steve, you've had a chance to review it. To have a meeting with HEB, and Dylan, and we'll have him look at it as well, of course, anyone else in town staff can need to look at it. And then to bring them in to discuss it, because we haven't seen anything for months and months and months.
Right.
And so we need to either reaffirm the approvals we gave in the past, because this is really almost a new project, or we're combining it, and affirm what we're gonna do going forward
Right.
Yeah.
with regard to the projects, and that'll tell us what we'll need for for a warrant article in March, which we gotta have by the warrant
Coming
article.
up, as soon as possible.
Yeah, but we have a statutory date as to when we have to put those warrant articles out. I think it's 2 or 3 weeks ahead. I think it's
Sure.
the end of February.
Yep.
I don't have the date in front of me.
And one item
Yeah.
that is gonna be controversial is the one Greg just brought up. Whether or not to put a water line in
Yeah.
Boulder Path.
Yeah, well, again, we'll have that conversation. Once we see what the plan calls for, we can have that conversation.
Yep.
Yep.
So let's see what the combined plan is. So the sooner we can have that meeting, the better.
Yep.
So keep your
Well,
calendars
again,
clear for the week after next, I think.
Oh,
If-
what, MLK week? Sure.
Yeah, well,
No, I know. I
we
know.
gotta put a warrant article together.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
So, well, let's look at specific date. Well, let's see when they
Let's get
get,
the plans.
let's get the
Yeah.
plans.
And the estimates.
And then
we'll
have a meeting as
schedule-
soon as
and then we'll
possible
schedule a
after that.
meeting As soon after that.
Yeah,
as
because
well.
we are
can
starting to get
Josh
into,
over
like,
here.
Super.
we're starting to get into the period we have to
He knows.
pay
he
attention to
knows
the
there's a
legal
tight-
calendar.
He knows there's a tight.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially.
We
if
go
we
through
wanna
this every
get
year.
Something out the bid actually before town meeting. So
Yeah,
things have to
which is
happen
really
pretty
ambitious.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That is very ambitious. I
Yeah, that's
hope we can
great.
do that.
Yeah.
all right.
Okay, that's those
Anything else on
projects.
the road projects?
On those road
Those two?
projects? No.
Okay. I think Steve included the landfill closure
Yeah.
work plan.
Yes,
Yeah.
we got
in
it.
Your packet, I think that's the next thing on the agenda. Well, no, actually.
Either one, doesn't matter.
So
You pick.
there's a connection between the two, so we'll discuss them both. The closure plan, I've had a great conversation with Mark Henderson.
Mhm.
Got to keep our marks straight here. And I actually asked him to really explain to me the history of discussions that he had with Mark Dakota
Mhm.
on this project, and it goes way back before
Mhm.
when the land was for sale.
Right.
Yep.
And Mark Dakota's presumption that whoever bought it might come back to the town and say, hey, I own the property now, but this is still your mess.
That's right.
What
That's
what
why
are you
we,
gonna do?
that's
What are
why
you
we
gonna do
bought
about
the
it?
property.
So
we
now
skipped
that
it.
it's been
Yeah.
donated, it's still your problem, so
Right.
to speak. So this plan, basically, I've read through it quite a few times. I've questioned Mark Henderson on it quite a few times about a number of things. I think we're all in agreement that that landfill predates either the states or the feds grandfathering dates, either 1982, depending upon which rules you're looking at, or 1992. Either way, it predates that. Everybody's in agreement. So this plan, because of the grandfathering, there are still 3 items that have to happen, which are addressed in this plan.
Right.
The first one is a accurate mapping of the landfill itself.
Right.
We're pretty sure we know kind of where everything is, but Mark's proposal is to do some additional digging and say, yeah, it's here, 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 and here. And then the second thing is required by the Associated Clean Water Act and all the other rules about water is to do some water monitoring. His plan calls for some temporary wells initially that lead to permanent wells because the rules say that this will have to be monitored for 30 years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, I had a question about that.
Yep.
And I think he addressed them briefly, but I wasn't sure how it all folded in together. The existing wells that were there from the water monitoring before. Are we able to use any of those for some cost savings?
Those will be incorporated into the overall plan.
Okay.
Some of those are not of an appropriate depth.
Gotcha.
And so, but obviously, if there's a well there and we can take samples out of it,
Okay.
we might avoid putting a well in that section, sorry. So might help us reduce the number of permanent wells that have to be out there.
Okay, so that is in consideration.
How
Sure.
deep do we have to go?
I think it's 15 feet.
Yeah.
Some of that will depend on exploration.
And you're saying an existing well would be less than 15 feet?
Monitoring.
It was a monitoring well that was installed, but it had more to do with an existing drinking water well that was there. It had nothing to do with a landfill. It was literally just.
So I don't know if we really know what the depth of those wells
But our
is.
wells are, you said something on the order of like 25 feet or something.
But
right?
there's a monitoring
Existing
well.
drinking water wells, the gravel packed wells are, that was not a gravel packed well.
Okay,
It was-
Number
it was
one.
Really, it was
So we
a junk well.
may or may not be able to use those.
Okay.
All right,
okay.
we'll just have to see.
And then the third thing that's still required, even though it's grandfathered, is an improved cap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the potential projects have a possible connection. Rich, I talked to Mark Henderson today, and I mentioned that you were concerned from X years ago that if we dredged Corcoran Pond, that material could not be used as a cap.
That's what we were told, right?
Mark Henderson was in disagreement with that
Oh.
philosophy.
That's great.
That'd be
Uh,
well.
That's
it
what we
will
were
all come
told,
down
yeah.
to
Yeah.
what is taken out of
What it
Corcoran
is,
Pond, but
yeah.
his experience and my experience is the dredge material in a case like this, that's basically stream fed, natural stream fed, is mostly sand and silt, which is perfectly acceptable to use as a cap.
Great.
So there's a possibility here, depending upon if or whether we move forward with the dredging project.
I love
that-
the creative
that,
thinking.
Might save some money because boom, we have a place to put that material, right?
Yeah.
That
We talked
saves a
about
lot
that
of
few
money.
Years ago, and yeah.
Yeah.
that was a-
I remember, I mean,
The minimum
we were
depth-
told absolutely not.
Yeah, yeah.
The minimum depth is 2 feet. I told him that Horizon's estimate on dredging is 60,000 cubic yards. And of course, depending upon the footprint that we have to cover, we'll be able to put a nice thick cap on that
That's
landfill.
awesome.
Or may have more than we need, and then we'll just have to figure out where to take the rest of that
Well, we'll just
material.
Cap a little.
Or we
extra.
could make it a little bigger, yeah, make the cap a
Right.
little bigger than it is actually necessary.
Hmm.
So
And if we need more, we'll just dredge a little deeper.
So Mark is waiting for approval from the town to send this plan to DES.
Mhm.
So if you're all in agreement with it, based on what it says and what I've found out, if you would let Mark know.
Give him the go-ahead.
Go ahead and move forward.
Yeah, no, I think that's what we told him to do the last time we met with him, is to pull this together.
Yeah, it's a great plan.
And if you think it's a great plan, I mean, I reviewed it, it looked fine
Yeah.
by me.
absolutely.
It's great news that if we can indeed use the whatever we suck up out
Yeah.
of the pond
Yep.
For a landfill, that'll save us potentially truckloads of money,
Definitely.
pun intended.
Yes,
Yeah.
potentially.
So, great, all right, yep, send that along, and what will be beyond that, then we just follow the timeline he had in there?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Which makes, again, most of the work short of the cap can obviously be done irregardless of what's decided on Corcoran Pond.
Right.
If
Mhm.
if there is a cap required and we're not moving forward with Corcoran Pond, we gotta get that material somewhere.
anyway, right,
It'll
yeah,
have
I
to be
think we're
trucked-
assuming there
it'll
will
have to
be a
trucked
cap,
in from
yeah,
somewhere,
there will be a cap,
or borrowed
Yeah.
from somewhere, so.
I think that's a given.
Yeah. And then, so on the Corcoran Pond question, I had another great conversation. Actually, Dylan and I had a great conversation with Andrew Peroni with Horizons
Mm-hmm,
once again, on the whole history of where this all started with Mark Dakota and all the conversations that took place. And I think you all have seen both of the proposals from Horizons. The first one came in to the tune of 2.1-ish or 2-ish
Yes.
million dollars.
right,
Basically for a dredging project.
right,
Just
correct,
Bringing
right,
equipment in, loading it on
right,
trucks.
and
all-
the various
all in it.
options were provided, and we
all in it somewhere.
selected one option
Yes.
of the options, yes.
Obviously, the issue that came up with that is how often are we gonna have to do that if we
Yeah.
wanna maintain the volume of water that the ski area is hoping for to have in there for snowmaking operations, et cetera.
Well, and so that it's clean for the summertime and we're not closing it all the
And,
time.
It just
and the
finally
whole
has
water
the
quality
water.
issue
Yeah.
that you've been dealing with the duck poop, or not the duck. poop,
Whatever it is,
Yeah.
Whatever it is, whatever's causing it. So yes, so how often or how much are we gonna have to deal with it to the tune of potentially another 2 whatever million dollars?
Yeah.
or double,
So I think Mark Dakota then asked Andrew,
mm-hmm,
can something be done to minimize the sediment
Silt, yeah.
that fills up the
Mhm.
pond? And that's where the second proposal came in on putting a concrete structure
Mhm.
that would hopefully
collect the
catch
silt, right,
the silt and sediment that comes down the stream, and keep it out of the pond so that we wouldn't have to do it every
right,
5,
and we
10, or
could
whatever years.
periodically just scoop
And
scoop
clean
it up,
that out
and it wouldn't take
at
a
whatever
whole,
frequency. Yes, sir.
So the question is, the sedimentation bins, if you will, out of concrete, will they be able to accommodate sedimentation as a result of a 100-year event like the Hurricane Irene that came through here? Because
that is the $4.2
because-
million question.
Well,
Yes.
yeah.
Well, no,
That's
it's an important question because from what I've read, the pond was fine until that. We had just dredged it and it was literally 2 years later and it was back 50% full again after that one event. So during a hurricane and such like that, you're gonna have a lot of flow of sediments, dirt, all kinds of stuff, trees, everything coming down. And the question is whether investing in these really is worthwhile for that extra $2 million. Is it going to be effective in the case where we get another high volume event like that?
Mhm.
Well, I think the answer to the question was, that was the proposal that was presented to us. And
Well-
that's when we said time out, it's too expensive.
Correct.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the question's whether technically it'll even work.
Well,
Yes.
no,
And
Well-
that's my question.
Okay,
I'm
that is,
less
that is a
concerned
good
about
question.
cost than I am about whether technically it will work, because
Well,
if we spend $4 million and install this and dredge it and all of that, are we gonna be in the same boats we're in right now if we get a big storm come?
What I'm saying, Dan, is that that was the discussion we had, and that because it could be maintained on a regular basis, not every 20 years or so, we could potentially, I mean, you can't say that we're not gonna get such a storm that it would overflow, but the silt and sediment would just go into the pond. But that's what that structure was meant to do.
Oh, I understand that. It's whether it can handle, whether that structure, Rich, can handle.
So you're asking Bill his professional opinion
Yeah, a
if it will work.
certain, well, and
Hey, the
it's
engine-
something we
And-
need to ask the
Right.
Horizons folks.
Yeah.
Well, their
Yeah,
answer
that's
was,
with them.
yes, we'll talk about them some more, but that was the point. And the
Yes.
answer was yes.
So, well, and this is some of the questions I had for Andrew.
Mhm.
I believe their design is not to handle a Hurricane Irene.
Mhm.
It's to handle
Right.
smaller events
Mhm.
more frequently that can be cleaned out on
Right.
on a more frequent
Right.
basis.
Routine rain and storms.
Hopefully Irene was a 100-year event
Mhm.
and we won't see another one for another 100 years and you and I won't need to worry about it. The next,
But how do you build for something like that?
Right.
I mean, the
That-
point
that
is
is-
that you can
Yeah.
clean out what you had
that,
and get as much as you could. The rest of it's gonna go into the pond.
Right.
The
yes.
whole idea was, the idea wasn't to never have to dredge the pond again. The idea was to extend that dredging out for decades and decades and decades.
Well, it was almost to not have to dredge it
Almost,
again, though,
but
because
we're
we
still
won't
gonna
have
have-
a place to dry anyway.
Right,
right.
Once the development happens, we won't
Right.
have that drying area
Right.
for the dirt, and it'll be
So-
much more expensive.
And I did
to take it.
inform Andrew that there is a major development going
Yeah.
in
Yep.
adjacent to where they are proposing this
Yeah.
concrete
Right.
system.
Well, the thing is, the
And
point
how-
here though
how are
is,
you gonna clean it out?
okay,
Right.
so we're not here to discuss whether,
Right.
we're here to discuss what is it that they are proposing to do. We said put a halt on everything because it was too expensive.
The conversation that Dylan and I and Andrew had was that we should gather all the interested
Stakeholders.
parties involved in this potential
Okay.
project again soon and say, okay, where are we with this? Their numbers to their admission are kind of dartboard.
Hmm.
You know, the dredging part, it's mostly an earthwork project. So that's a little easier to predict. I still think the 2.1 or 2 is very high, but
Yeah.
they also show a very big contingency in there because of unknowns. So our proposal to you all is to
Who?
gather the group together,
Bill, Dylan, and Andrew. and- and-
Tyrell, the town, myself, Dylan, others,
Whomever.
whomever,
Whomever the board deems that we should have involved, even maybe the state, because.
and relook.
If
kind of
I can
relook.
just add this part, one of the things that came up in that conversation was the reason they selected that location that's on the plan of being basically adjacent to the site where the adventure zone is going to be built is because they were told that's the only location they could place it.
Because of
And
an
that-
access easement that had been agreed to earlier.
What they weren't aware of is that we already have an existing utility easement upstream of the pond, crossing Snows Brook, because we have a water main that goes under Snows Brook.
Okay.
Right.
From my perspective, I'm not saying.
Yeah, that's on town land,
Yes.
but then you get into the Forest Service for going there. Is it on town
It's
land?
on town land.
Right,
Yep, it's on town land, but my point is
right.
that Bill's point, I think, kind of went unnoticed, but Bill's point is, it doesn't really make sense to build a structure in Corcoran's Pond if you can't access it to maintain it.
Right.
It's just gonna fill up with sediment and now you can't even,
Get to it,
remove the
yeah.
sediment. So that was
Yeah.
the point he was, I think, alluding to, but placing it upstream is going to capture more sediment.
Yeah,
You mean on the other side of the road?
Yes.
yeah, no, that was always, I thought, a consideration, but it was,
So I asked,
It wasn't
that was
selected.
when I first started reviewing this whole project.
I'm
my
fine
thought
reviewing
was,
all
why
that.
not put it on the other side of the road? Cause one, you won't have the
Right.
visibility of this concrete thing
Right.
in the pond. Even though they're gonna try to put it in an
Right.
elevation where.
The
it
town
won't
does
be-
have land there.
It won't be seen.
That's the conservation.
Conservation
land,
land.
Much of
yeah.
the time, but you
Yeah.
gotta build it
That's-
so that
That's
it works.
conservation land, but if that would work, I mean, I don't know why they didn't select it.
They were told it was a non-starter.
Yeah, Mark told me.
Okay,
I
well,
think- I
we
think
weren't
Mark-
privy to
Mark
those.
told them that will never
discussions.
happen because whether the Forest Service would never approve anything over there. Or
It's town
he
land. I
didn't see
mean,
the town
Huh.
wanting to do something over there. I'm not,
all right,
Or-
Over
no,
there is better in my mind.
So we've got to get everyone together.
well, I think everyone should be the engineers and town staff.
Yes. for
Yes.
starters.
I don't know.
Potentially the state, only because Andrew Peroni's concern was that there may be a preferred method from the state because they had already showed this plan to them.
Okay,
Anyway.
yeah, no, that
especially if
makes-
we really consider something on the other side of Valley Road.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, you want to get their preliminary opinion before you go down a path that they're gonna say,
Right.
no way.
Yeah.
We want to get at least a green light of sorts.
Is there any work we need to do beforehand to understand the potential option involving putting the sedimentation bins on the other side of the road? Is there any engineering work that would need to be done so that we can determine the feasibility of that or not? I know there's land back in there. I've been back in there.
I don't think, Dan, in terms of feasibility, it's any more difficult to place them there than the location in Corcoran Pond. That's not, Andrew didn't make it seem like that would be any more difficult to accomplish that.
Well, do we have the accessibility we would need in all of those aspects?
Yeah,
That's what I'm
They,
talking
they've
about.
made, well, to answer your question, there would need to be some borings made to see what's down there so that before excavation for a big concrete structure
Yeah.
would need to be done. They didn't do any of that because that's really not what you paid them to do. So
Yep,
they made some gross assumptions
yep.
that it could be done where they're
Right.
proposing that it
Okay.
is currently planned
So-
or in their design. So
This is not something that we have to do
No.
rush on. It's not like we're trying to get a warrant article to support Dan's question. Yeah, we need to know if it's feasible, but then they're gonna have to expend money to find it's feasible, so we need to know that number.
Yeah.
So we can decide how we're going to fund it.
Yeah.
Now, it would be good to have that number prior to town meeting so that we can say this is the next stage. I don't think we have any engineering money left for the Cochrane Pond dredging, so if we're gonna, again, to get to what Dan was saying, if we're going to ask them to do more engineering, we gotta put it in a budget, right?
Yep.
Otherwise, it isn't gonna get done this year.
Right.
I don't know how much we're talking. I mean,
Well-
if we're talking at the lower end, we can probably come up with it in an account.
I was gonna say, if we want to take the risk of just dredging again and hope that we don't have another Irene in the next X number of years,
I hope it's not.
we could go forward with a
Mhm.
project that would just dredge, which again is basically just. an
No,
earth-
it's just not what we
earthwork
wanted to do.
earthwork project.
That's why we went down this path
Right,
to
Yeah.
begin with.
so there
Yeah.
is an option to put the structure off to later and dredge to get the capacity back to where it needs to be and hope we don't get a major storm.
Well, but the problem is, it's not just the Irenes, it's the other big storms, like we just had, whatever, a year
Right.
ago, that
Yeah,
December storm,
mean-
it's
Right.
all those, they
Right.
aren't
Right.
huge
I'm-
storms, but they're significant in their
Which
impact.
this
and
thing
that's
was supposed to
Yes,
I think
be
there's,
able to handle.
yes.
I think
Yeah,
there's
so Rick,
agreement
that's all
that,
part of the
but-
original discussion
Mhm.
on this, so it's unclear to me that the Horizons design is really set to handle the larger type storms or
Okay.
not. I don't know. That's why I've asked the question. I'm just asking that question be relayed back to the Horizons folks and we get a good solid answer on that. Because look, if we spend the money to do this, let's say it's 4 million or whatever. Okay. And then all of a sudden we have a storm and we find out, oh, we're gonna have to dredge again next year. Because the pond filled up again. Or within 5 years.
Well,
There's gonna be a lot of
Irene was
pushback
2008,
on-
right?
No,
2000.
2012, I believe,
12.
or 11, 2011. Does anybody remember exactly?
Yeah,
2011,
so,
2011.
Yeah, I think the issue, because we did mention this to Andrew, but the issue isn't so much as having a structure that can capture all that sediment. It has to do with the velocity of the water.
Yep.
It's not so much as, you know, how much storage
Materials,
you have,
yeah.
yeah, you're not gonna have any settling of that sediment. I think that's a bigger issue.
Yeah.
well, and that's right, and so the pond would likely fill up.
That's correct.
But so just to move the discussion along, I think
Yeah.
that this question's been heard and we can
Yeah.
figure it out.
So
Yeah, so let's see what
would
they
there
say.
be any
Meeting.
FEMA funding available? Because this would be, if you will, a
Like the
preventative
mitigation.
action to.
Yeah, that second category, does that still exist anymore?
Huh.
Remember, we had two categories
Yeah.
from FEMA.
Yeah.
One was repair and the other was
Mitigation.
mitigation going forward. That's what you're asking,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I think Megan's experience with FEMA lately has proven that they're trying to cut back substantially. Is
You
that,
don't say,
well,
really?
is that a safe assumption, Megan?
Well, yes,
Yeah.
but in order for a project to have any type of funding, it has to be claimed in grants portal. We do not have anything to make it a project for Corcoran's Pond, because it's not technically, nothing was technically damaged at
Right.
Corcoran's Pond.
Right.
Something has to be damaged, like if it
Yeah.
shattered the dam concrete or something, then.
But we were talking about that other category.
well, the
But she's saying
pond,
something has to be broken first.
You still have
be
to,
a-
right,
this
you
building
can't just
back
come in with,
better.
we know we're gonna have to mitigate this.
It's very, very lengthy that you can try. It's through the state. We could try it, it's not gonna be.
Well, we're not anywhere near there anyway,
But the
so.
even mitigation money is still tied to a potential, to the destruction of something, some existing feature.
Right,
right,
And
but
in this case, you really, I mean,
The dam?
the pond is doing its job. That's what.
no, but
ponds do,
once
they get
the,
sediment.
once the dam boards go and we get that big flood of water down there, we took out bridges and all kinds of stuff last time.
well, with Irene, but
Right,
the dam was armored, so that was part of the reason why we
So-
had to spend 600,000+
I mean,
dollars there.
Alright.
But I don't think we can deal, you know, we have to see if what's feasible, so
Yeah.
we're kind of
So,
going backwards here.
Let's get together, get some heads together and.
Yeah, I think,
talk
talk to
But
them,
I will say, Dan,
talk to them.
not that the 60,000 cubic yards that they're proposing to take out all came from Irene.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, the structure that they are proposing won't handle
I
60,000
don't think
cubic
you can
yards of
come,
material.
I don't think anything is ever
No.
going to,
Right, exactly. So, I mean, it's
but they were proposing the best that could be built for us.
I think their thinking is. you
Yeah,
know,
we're never gonna-
The
they're never-
storms that Wendy's talking about is those the
Yeah.
more frequent storms that we're seeing, smaller thankfully, but
Right,
we're still
yeah.
seeing more frequent.
Yep.
So,
Got one quick question. The dredging project, if the price was just for the dredging was 2.1, well,
yes,
okay, does that take into consideration that we no longer have to dispose of the sludge that comes out? That we can actually use it, we don't have to pay to
no,
Put it out there?
that was,
That's new.
that estimate came before
prior to that, so it
that.
will be less
So
than that.
It
This is
should
what-
be less because the trucking costs will be significantly
Okay,
lower.
excellent.
If the fill is,
If-
it had
If
to
it's allowed,
be, if it's
Right.
suitable,
It's gonna be allowed.
we are hoping.
right?
The experts that are involved at this point think it will be, but
Right.
it won't, it'll come down to the actual, what do we have?
I think the only rush on this would be is if we need engineering money to do something this year along these lines.
Yeah.
Yep.
If not, then just proceed at, you know, at a normal pace.
Right.
At this point.
Okay.
I believe the CIP committee or somebody had put in the CIP for some dredging monies anyways, right?
I'd have to go
Got that
back.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll look at it again tomorrow, but we don't know how much something of this magnitude / type of project it would cost.
We know what their initial contract was, and the work that would go into just, I mean, they
Right.
really just, taking the same design and just moving it to another location.
Right,
It's
Yeah, how much of that was the
And
engineering?
getting more,
Yeah.
detailed in the whole
Yeah.
design.
Okay, like I said, the only caveat here is if we need money, maybe it's through the CIP, they're already asking for it, I don't recall.
Yeah.
But.
And
we
then,
need it.
any other on that? Okay, so we'll convene a gathering of smart people and.
Yeah,
kind of
well, I would say you,
what-
Dylan, the engineers and
Yeah.
the state.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
Good.
makes sense. Just let us know when you're ready to talk about it again.
Okay. And then just real quick on the Valley Road project, Megan continues to work with FEMA. You all know about the original estimate, $13,000, which anybody with
Yeah.
a brain knows
Yeah,
that was. But for some reason FEMA is holding tight to that number. The state is now involved and Megan's working with both entities and has gotten them, new estimates, more accurate estimates put together by Piper, for both a concrete box and.
Well,
Yep.
the big cost comparison.
Exactly.
Sure.
She had to get cost comparisons. They wouldn't just take an estimate from one. So for either plastic culverts, plastic pipe, or a concrete box. So that's kind of where it is right now. There's the powers that be are still
all right.
battling
Well-
over. But in the meantime, Megan and I kind of agreed the mitigation that they did, filling the hole with concrete, and they're monitoring the pipe. We see no imminent failure
Okay,
of that. It's a project that will need to be done at some point, one way or the other, but there's nothing immediate that's gonna happen. Hopefully, the work Megan's doing with FEMA and the state will eventually result in some assistance for funding.
Nice.
So
all right.
Cool.
That's about all we know about
Thanks
that
for the
one right
update,
now.
man. We'll be seeing you.
Okay,
Corporate and
Thank you,
Boulder
Bill.
Path,
Thank you.
Yep.
Pond.
all right,
Anything else
all
left?
good.
Thank you
All
for
right, thank you all.
getting that all
Thanks, Bill.
straightened out for us,
So
Bill.
you'll do messages, get them out.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Very
A
good.
lot to cover.
All right, let's move over to the wastewater transfer,
I know, I'm at that point too. Rich.
yeah, that project.
Three out
Yeah,
and.
yeah.
Communication side of it, I reached out to John, regarding our conversation.
Yep.
The other day, I provided him with a presentation from our financial management.
Yep.
Company, he asked for a couple other things, so I'm waiting to hear back from them to get. More or less that he wanted the original Excel spreadsheet in order to extract some information out of it. Timeline wise, as I told you, I'd get back to you.
Mhm.
It doesn't seem like he'll be able to turn that over until probably the beginning of February, so that was the kind of conversation we had of,
Right, so moving back the public hearing to 11 February.
yes. With that being said, though, on the communication side, Steve and I had a meeting yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't remember.
Monday,
Tuesday, whatever day. it was. With Black and Beach.
The other players,
As well as Jim Steincross.
Yep.
They're going to be submitting to the board a presentation from each of them
Mm-hmm.
on the week, for the board meeting on the week of MLK. So
The 21.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
correct. So there will be a this will be a draft, and the reason why we
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that is because we wanted the board to be able to critique or have their comments for each of them. They're aware that this is supposed to jive. We want this to be sequential, we don't want it to just be kind of, broken up, so.
And the sequential order was a good recommendation, I think, by Will at Black and Beach to open up in a legal discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And go into
That's
the
what
technical
drives
piece.
everything, right?
And
Then the
then-
technical response to the legal,
Hit the hammer.
and then what it costs us.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
So that, to me, that'll be a special meeting, I think.
Yeah.
That's sort of our, for lack of a better way of putting it, a murder board,
Yes.
right? Let's see what they got, and then we can ask questions and refine
Our
it.
hope was to have that be a special meeting with the board so that we could
Yeah.
review earlier in the day, because that would be, at least at a minimum an hour in a board meeting if we had to do it that way.
Yeah, we suggested maybe starting earlier on the 21st.
Or is there another day? I mean, when they gonna be ready exactly?
I believe we asked them to have it submitted by the 21st.
All right,
So I mean, you could technically do it on that Thursday following that Wednesday.
Yeah.
If that's available too, or the Friday. I mean,
Yeah, I'm out of town on the 19th and 20th. Just so you know. So 21st, 22nd, 23rd, I'm available.
The only concern I have of laying on the meeting an hour before is that, or an hour and a half, we'll be rushing just because we have a 3 o'clock deadline.
Yeah.
Um,
Thursday then,
um,
if that's easier.
Thursday morning,
If we could do the morning, that would be much.
Thursday morning, what, 9 o'clock?
30.
Well, we gotta get the folks here too. I
Okay,
mean,
so we told them
virtual.
they could be virtual.
they can be virtual. Then
Because
we,
this is going to just be
okay.
basically a slideshow.
Okay,
thing.
oh, that's fine, that's fine.
Okay, so I'll make a request of.
Does that work for you?
22nd.
Thursday,
What time?
8:30? 8:30? Is that good?
That'd be good.
That'd be good. 8:30, and we just go as long as we need to go. I mean, if we
Okay.
need an,
Not later than noon.
we go as long as we need to go until noon. And then, so PFM will be part of that, is that correct?
Yes.
And then we'll have to see what Carno can come up with.
So that's fair. PFM is aware that we didn't even prompt them by saying this. They're
Right.
aware that what they provided us was strictly for the town staff and for the select board review. That is
Yep.
not in any way, shape or form what they're anticipating having be at a public presentation.
Well, it's
Oh, yeah.
also good data to have available in case we have questions.
Exactly.
Yeah, you
Right,
keep them,
right.
you keep it in reserve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just saying
Yeah.
that they were.
All right, no,
Oh, of
good.
course.
All right, so the 22nd at 8:30 to 11:30, this would, just for
Plenty of time,
scheduling.
right?
I hope so, but there may be a lot to discuss.
I think we'll fly through it quicker than that. I hope.
At 2:45,
So-
when I get really hungry.
So engineering update, in front of you, Rick, really, I only needed your signature on this one, but I wanted to make sure I provided the three of you with that.
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That proposal from Time and Bond to the value engineering.
Well, if I'm allowed to sign it.
I had your name on it.
Well, it does, but I can sign whatever I want, but unless the board says,
Oh, do we
sure.
need to vote on that?
Well,
Yeah,
Well,
because
I'll
we're
make
talking
a-
a lot of money.
so I'll make a motion that we approve the value engineering of the new wastewater treatment facility by Ty and Bond for
$149.
$149,000.
Okay, so just for discussion, the motion's on the table. Do we have a second?
Second.
So, tell me what you think, Dylan, about this proposal and does it make sense?
Yeah.
Technically and financially?
Both, yes.
Okay.
What I talked to some engineering design review at the state, and this came in a little bit lower than some of the other projects of similar or small, even smaller magnitude. So I think we're in good shape. That,
Okay.
I was kind of happy to hear that, because this is a pretty unique project in a lot of ways that, and it's relatively compact what we asked them to do this work in. So I think that's a fair price tag, and again, they're very people.
Now, at one point, we had talked about the possibility of them needing other space besides just like this meeting room. We talked about the Golden Eagle or some lodge.
They're going to figure that part out.
They'll figure, okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah, so they're going to figure that part out. As it sits right now, as long as we can get this contract back to them, they're still on schedule for the first week of February, whatever the week of February 5th is, that may be the second week of February, however that calendar works out. I'm not quite sure. I can't recall. So the calendar or schedule hasn't slipped at all. I have a kickoff.
It's the first week.
First.
It's Thursday of the
Okay.
first week.
So maybe it's not February 5th, then maybe it's February 1st, whatever the Monday is.
Two.
Second then,
Yeah.
okay, February 2nd. Anyhow, I have a kickoff meeting with them on Monday, to just hash out some things. I already provided them, in anticipation of you guys signing this. I already provided them with documents that they need, DODR, 30% design drawings, and the OPCC construction costs. So they already have those. I didn't want to have them withhold and, not have those documents. I want them to be able to be ready to
Yeah,
go. For when they get here. Aside from that, I don't have any concerns that the team that they put together, as well as the point person in this. So far, at least I'll put it that way, it's been very easy to work with. and very accommodating. Every time I call, he answers. And if he doesn't, he calls me back very quickly, so.
Great.
Okay, so if there's any other discussion on the matter?
Nope.
So there's a motion on the table to. Already been made?
Aye, we already have the motion in a
Oh,
second.
in a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
And that would be not to exceed 149,000, right?
Yeah.
And anything else that would come in would be a change order or a request that would have to be approved by the board. I just want to make that clear.
Cool.
So anything that, if you
Right,
have something
yeah,
else
so-
comes up, like they suggest that we look at drainage or anything like that, if there's an additional fee, that would come to the board, that would not just be back on tally on.
Right.
Or tax on that. So, going to the next one, legal update. We have another contract amendment in front of you. That's from Black and Beach. That has to do with what we offered the EPA as a,
The counter proposal?
yeah,
Yeah.
basically as
Or-
a time buying proposal, if you
Right.
will. To make sure to have them recognize that we're doing our best.
Right.
in being in compliance.
Right.
With the new permit, while we're, you know, technically not implementing it. If, yes, Dan.
Simple question. In the event the EPA does not accept that.
Mhm.
We're not anticipating that, but in the event that they do not. We are not obligated then to Black and Beach for this amount of money,
That's
correct?
That's correct.
We
Yes.
need to make sure that that's,
So I would recommend to the board that we don't sign this until we submit this to the EPA and get their acceptance on it. Yes, that's how I would recommend structuring this.
Perfect.
Just for that sake, Dan, just so there's no confusing aspects of, you know, us being on the hook for any money that, you know, anyway, I agree with that.
Okay.
With that being said, though, Steve and I had the chance to talk to Jim Steinkraus, our attorney.
Mhm.
And I just wanted to make sure that in no way, shape or form, anything that is on that amendment or scope of work, we can be held to having to actually do. This
Execute.
is just a study. That's all this is.
Oh,
I wanted to make sure that they can't say, no, you told us this is what you're going to do a study on. Now you're going to.
There's no,
Reality of it is
right,
the cost, we can't do this,
Both, yeah.
all of this at least, we can't do all this and build a new facility,
Yeah.
it's not feasible.
right.
Yeah.
So he said absolutely not, they can't, this is, he would structure the language to make sure that it's
A study.
strictly
Mhm.
just a study, and an understanding what the impacts would be.
Okay,
So there's that component of it. And I really think, unless you guys have any specific questions, I trying to just
yeah.
absorb hold all this in my head and
No.
regurgitate it to you, so.
What's the cost of it?
246, I think, $246,000, it's substantial, yeah.
Oh, 246,000.
Yes, correct, yes,
Oh,
and the
that's
way,
that's less than I thought it would be.
it's a little bit more than I thought it was gonna be honest with you, but,
Yep.
you know, it just depends upon, so that's with the full scope of work that's included in there.
Yep.
Not we don't have to actually say we want that full scope of work in there.
Correct.
The only benefit is that there's a, you know, a long lasting benefit, let's say that the town voted down the appropriation when we go and ask for any additional money,
Yeah.
there is a possibility that that could potentially on a short-term basis get us through. This in no way, shape or form is a standalone treatment technology to have us meet our new permit. It's not.
Correct.
So,
Dylan, correct me if I'm wrong, but I see some of these tasks outlined in the amendment as going to have to be necessary at some point down
Yeah.
the road anyways.
Well-
that's absolutely
Right.
And does that 246 include getting rid of the sludge?
Evaluating.
Okay,
So that's
okay.
the study
Yeah.
that tells us how much we have and the best methods.
Okay, I was thinking too optimistically there.
That'd be awesome.
It would be.
prepare overall conceptual schedule and planning level budget cost estimate to implement the recommendations of task 2 and 3. Is that what we're talking about?
All right. All right,
So-
so you'll see if the EPA accepts this and then we can move forward.
Yes.
Cool.
Um, Okay, so that's that, and then funding update, Steve and I we don't really have much, Black and Beach, it's still waiting to hear back from, I have talked to them a couple of times, they've been working diligently on, as if you recall, USDA as well as RCAP for wage survey, that whole mess of things. Just waiting to hear back with a, kind of a synopsis and plan from what they were able to gather. And then once we receive that, I'll inform the board at the next board meeting of what that entails. And I'll just share it with you, share the document with you. Other than that, I don't have much for you.
Okay.
From a funding update, the approach that PFM is gonna take, that you'll see when we meet with them next. They're suggesting a couple of scenarios right now, so they're suggesting conservative scenario, placing a valuation of the plan at $100 million. Taking into consideration the full town capital plan that we have extended through 2030.
Right.
General fund operating budget expansion growth through the outward years at a predetermined percentage. No grants beyond the 20% SRF loan forgiveness. And base it upon a loan through WAFIA, that 40 year out.
Right.
Scenario 2, more optimistic, again, valuing the project at $100 million. Taking into consideration the full capital plan, the general fund operating expense growing, the 30% grant forgiveness with USDA. We told you that we're approved to up to 45, but the likelihood of that is slim.
Right.
So they're looking at a 30% grant, the 20% SRF forgiveness, and using a USDA loan as opposed to WAFIA. USDA loans look like they have a more favorable interest rate.
Okay.
So
And they have a longer term, like with
40
the
years.
40 years,
Okay.
very similar to WAFIA.
4 years, okay.
So that's kind of the direction that they're going to be going in. If you guys have any thoughts of another scenario, or if you want to reshape one of those scenarios, let us know before
No,
the
that sounds,
21st.
No, I
but-
think that's,
that sounds
Black
okay.
and Beach has a magic bullet that
yeah,
we haven't thought about.
Right.
But that would be nice.
okay,
All right.
all right,
Cool.
good. Anything else, Dylan?
No, that's
On that
the
project?
best I have here for department head updates. Can you have these two go first? Because I have a long department head update for you, so I don't want to make them stay. any longer
Okay.
than they have to.
Fine,
Yeah.
all right. Chief?
Thank you.
Morning.
My notes are over here. Reggie, one of the things, I gave to Reggie, she took it with her. All the public safety officers will be wearing a commemorative badge, celebrating the 250th anniversary of the country. So starting January 1, I've been wearing those badges. I had an extra one made and donated it to the Historical Society.
Cool.
Nice.
Just so we can show, not only just a badge, but it shows that we're one of the communities that are celebrating the nation's birthday, and it's kind of, once in a career type thing that happens.
Yeah.
So I figured it was a nice gesture, and we've gotten actually a lot of positive comments. Pat has said, just by wearing it in town square. I'd show you, but Reggie took the one I had to show you, but you'll get to see it. New ambulance is here.
Yeah.
Looks like it's being used.
Being used, already being used. We have a few issues that we're working through with the dealer right now. But nothing major, still in service. Everything's good. A busy vacation week. Like I said, it was in use quite a bit, a lot of folks around, but nothing too major. I inspected the loft this week. They're expecting a soft opening either tomorrow or Friday above the former La Hacienda, the resort. It's a bar kind of gaming location. It's got
Simulators,
screens,
yeah.
simulators,
Simulators, yeah.
axe throwing, that sort of
Golf.
thing.
Now they are serving food, right? I mean, technically we don't have bars in New Hampshire, right? So
We do, but they are serving food. The thing, they have 3 turbo ovens, which basically can do like pizza, nachos and that sort of thing.
Okay,
Their kitchen is not open, because it's not, it hasn't been renovated and it's not up to code yet. So the main kitchen, they're not gonna be serving any food out of there. Same thing with the third floor, that is still being renovated. That's for a future project, so there'll be no public use of that upper.
that loft thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
of
So
the-
they can serve alcohol but not serve entrees and stuff?
They have to serve, some sort of food.
Right.
Said it would be, I think
Which they are.
Tim mentioned in his bi-monthly that they do plan to serve, I'm trying to remember correctly, serve food, but not full service. It'll be more like food you get at a entertainment venue.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
That's how I understood it anyway. So I imagine you're talking pizzas, sandwiches.
Yeah, it's gonna be like pizzas and nachos and.
Stuff like that?
Yeah, the stuff that basically is whatever they can make in those smaller little turbo ovens.
Okay.
That's what they're gonna be using. So there'll be some activity there, but their life safety, they owe me a few items, but nothing major on there, and I'm gonna follow up with them on Friday, so. But other than that, the World Cup is returning, as you probably know, so we did an inspection up at Sunnyside Lodge. They're gonna be opening that for warming, so they have some items up there to get that going before, but it's what I've been told, it's not gonna be as big of an event at that location. You know, where prior years there's a big tent and food and all that stuff's not gonna happen, because I guess this came upon them quite quickly.
Yeah, again, Tim mentioned that it's gonna be more bare bones this year.
Yep. Nicole started the police academy on Monday, so, that's good. She didn't show up here this week, so it means she's still there. That's great. And, we'll be having an upcoming, multi-agency training in February during the vacation week. With several local agencies. We're gonna be, going through our schools. Many departments, we've learned it's been a number of years, and with the amount of turnover in neighboring towns that and we felt that it was appropriate to go through the layout of our schools, talk about our response plans. So we're gonna start here, go to Thornton, Campton, I believe Holderness, but don't hold me to that. So
Is there a disruption at the schools when you do that, or?
they're
Well,
gonna
they're
be on
close.
vacation, so that's why we picked it.
Oh, okay,
That's why we picked that day, so there isn't any disruption.
okay,
They're not there, and we're basically just doing walkthroughs.
okay.
Yeah.
You're not doing any simulated.
No, there
Yeah,
won't be any,
simulated.
there won't be any simulated, we're gonna talk about our response plans, walk through, do walkthroughs there. You may see cruisers from all these other agencies, but, and the purpose is you don't want, if there's an emergency, you don't want the first time that they've been there to
Right.
be at the emergency.
Yes.
Right,
So,
right.
so this is a familiarization for all those other agencies.
Yep.
Other than that, that's all I have for you.
And Joe's back.
And Joe's back, yes.
How'd the first big week of the season go from DPS standpoint?
It was busy, you know, there was a lot going on, but nothing out of the ordinary. You know, some noise complaints and hockey related stuff with hotels and that sort of thing.
Nothing notable.
Nothing out of the ordinary. We don't typically get during that week.
Are we having issues with, like a lot of theft of skis and stuff from the mountains? The reason I mention this is some ski areas across the nation are having what seemingly is a big uptake in this year. Where there's
Not-
been a lot of
Not
skis
recently,
stolen.
it used to be an issue, especially 10, 15 years ago, yeah. But lately, the last several years, even the last decade, it has really tapered off. And what we have found, we have, peers program. It's a property reporting. So before security used to take reports of stolen skis at the ski area or lost property or any of that, they can do that online now. The resort gets a copy and we get a copy, and what that is found out where many of these skis are reported stolen, we found that 90% of them were misplaced. Because there was communications with the ski area going, hey, we found those skis. Those weren't taken, we have them.
Yep.
They communicate with the owner.
Yep.
And they can reunite them, so it was very small. In the past, we have arrested a few in, ski theft rings. We got one when I first started here years and years ago that had a carload full of snowboards. But they hit Bretton Woods, Cannon, Kenny at the time, and us, and I don't think it's as appealing, one road in and one road out. I think helps us.
Yeah.
Because anyone that's leaving that ski area, you're a pretty captive audience.
Yep.
So.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yep.
Thank you.
That's why you don't take a break, you just go all day.
I have a
Bring your
question. Do you
pocket
have
sandwich.
anything? Okay, so, Chief, a week ago, we talked about this new bus stop that just magically appeared, and I asked you to take a look at it and.
Yep, so I talked to, so keep an eye on it. I asked if there was any issues. They noticed that people were getting dropped off there, but there was no other cars parked there. And they didn't see that there was any issues, during the vacation week. So.
Where was this?
So it's less than a block from the current trolley stop at Lost Pass and Valley.
Oh.
And no one asked ahead of time, right? Do you know who put it in and under what authority this was done?
I believe Craig knows exactly who asked for it. But I don't know exactly who installed it, whether it was, it sounded like it was a request from him to the mountain.
Right. So my concern is that they've carved out a path there. You've got people, we went through a lot of trouble to create that parking area.
Yeah.
On-street parking. Now it's a bus stop, part of it. And you've got people walking between cars and the bus, and then there's cars on the other side of his parking lot, and he's
That is
blocked off.
potentially what could happen.
And he blocked off at least one spot on the other side so that people could walk because they are walking around in his parking lot. Right? So the road goes from from the road to his park. That's how you get, the bus stops, you walk through a place that he plowed out into his parking lot, but he's blocked off at least one spot. Because otherwise people were walking around, because I watch around cars. So you got people walking around cars on both ends of this thing. There's another stop. How many feet? I mean, I'm just trying to understand this. The bus stop, another stop in the middle of the road. I mean,
100 feet.
and I will say straight out, I've seen people walking not on the multi-use path, but on the other side to walking down to get to that path, as well as kids jumping up on the snow piles around it and whatnot. I don't know. It just doesn't strike me as a very safe place to put a bus stop.
Let's look at it. I'm reporting that we didn't see a problem with it.
Okay,
If you have a problem with it, I'd be happy to have them take it down.
okay. I mean, I think I just told you what my concerns were. I don't know what the rest of the board
I haven't even seen it, so.
thinks of it.
Seen
Had
it.
blinders on.
I
So
have
please take a look.
noticed that there didn't appear to be parking problems this past weekend, and there were a ton of folks over
There
there
was a lot of
sledding.
people in town,
Mhm.
absolutely.
It was,
And even though his lot was full, there was if not any, I asked the guys if anyone had been parking there.
No, there's been no
They-
parking there at
nobody-
all. It was
nobody-
surprising.
Yeah, nobody had parked there.
So that's a.
but I
that-
think
that's
part
a
of
plus.
that was we had tried to get you know, Tim and Craig had worked something out, so they were dropping people from the bus over there to try and help with
And-
that
and I
parking
can-
issue,
I can
so.
get, you know, speak to Craig about, you know, what the purpose was for that. There may be a perfectly good reason for it.
There's a bus
I would
stop
assume
right
that
there.
because his other parking lot is full, he doesn't want people walking through the parking lot, and that's a shorter distance to the front door.
I thought he was moving his ticketing operations. He hasn't done that yet, do you know?
He has not. No. No.
All right, well, if you
And
guys
from what
take a
I've been
look at it.
told, he wasn't doing that this year.
Okay, well, the last I had heard that was the plan, the reason
Right.
he built that, I guess he changed his mind, it just hadn't filtered to the select board, but I'm also concerned that someone go ahead, puts a bus stop and you didn't know about it, the select board didn't know about it. Frankly, I'm tired of being treated like a doormat.
Right.
I mean, it's just not right. I think there should be an approval, you know, something like that, it should have certainly sought your approval. So you'd have an opportunity to look at it from a life safety standpoint.
Well, I think it's, based on there's a whole transportation plan that's established all the bus stops in town.
Exactly.
Right, and that's
It's not based on mine, I think it's your decision.
right, as well as far, well, I mean, from a life safety, but again, there's a bus stop
Mhm.
half a block
Yep,
from it.
Mhm.
I don't understand.
yep.
Where's the second bus stop you're referring?
The original bus stop is corner of Lost Pass and Valley.
Okay,
Yeah, where it's
and where
been
is this one?
A walk down the road on your right, half a block, it's right
next
there.
to the building.
It's right next to the corner of the building, corner of the building.
All right, well, we'll look at it.
Yeah, please do. As you see, I'm not happy on two
Yeah.
levels.
Yeah, understandably.
Something like this would show up. All right. Anything else, chief?
I don't.
Okay, thank you. While you're here, I do want, speaking of signs and stops and whatnot, not to be Mr. Sign Man, but so what's going on with the signs with the arrows pointed the wrong way? Did they get fixed today? And are you happy with that now? Chief, you would indicate you wanted the parking sign done. The parking for rec only, you wanted that taken
I
down while
haven't
these
seen it. If
signs
they-
were,
Yeah, if.
had you heard
there's
that, Megan?
Contradictory signs there.
Right.
I don't know, I haven't been over there, I didn't see
Okay.
it.
I just want to have it all one way. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not, there wasn't the
Yeah, I
select
think-
board that asked for the no
I
parking signs.
think we had asked is to remove the recreation parking signs during the
Period,
parking ban
right,
that the other signs were referring to at that same time, so it
Right.
doesn't cause any confusion.
okay. So I'm just wondering, had that filtered to DPW?
I believe so. But is the other sign still up there?
I don't remember
Okay.
fixing.
All right, so the arrows are
I
pointing the
don't
right way
remember.
now.
The arrows are pointed the right way. I
That's,
don't
all
know if
right,
the other-
so
the
we're
other
not
signs
looking
in there.
foolish anymore, but,
Mhm.
and you still want that sign either taken out or covered up or
Yeah, either cover it up
or
or
just
just take it
take
out,
it down
take it down
until,
when the other.
right,
Other signs, sounds like it'll be seasonal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good,
Thank you.
no,
Any
thank
other
you.
questions?
No, I think we're good, chief.
Okay.
Thank you for,
Thanks.
thank you
Thank
for
you very
hanging
much.
around.
Thank you.
Okay. DPW,
I mean, it's just normal winter operations.
mm-hmm,
With the ice storms, ice storms that we're having right now. We did get some calcium chloride to help melt the ice. So obviously our roads have been a little bit better than 49. But we are still trying.
they've
to
been
keep
very
that-
good, thank you, yes.
Absolutely. We are still trying to keep that trend, so with the up and coming rain/ice that we're supposed to have. I believe on
Where am I?
Friday, we will be adding that to our salt sand mixture that we're using. So if you're walking around with your pups and your pups start to limp or something, it's just because of the chemical reaction that it's having with the salt. It's not gonna, the ice, yes, sorry. So just be wary, just kind of watch your pups as they're walking out there. Since most of them don't have booties on. But we are trying to keep it clear of ice for everybody, safe travels.
So you're adding the calcium chloride to the 50-50 salt sand mixture?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, it has a lower melting point, it goes
Right,
down to
right.
-25.
Okay.
Is what it's.
And this is
for.
just during
Just during ice storms,
ice,
yes,
Okay.
sleet or freezing rain, that sort of
Yes.
thing.
that's the only time we're adding it. Trash, obviously it was a busy week, we're still playing catch up. We did over the past few weeks, from Christmas week up until now, it's still probably gonna happen next week. Regardless of what the enclosures look like, we're picking up. So we're picking up as much trash as possible. We did go to the landfill twice last week, which is more than we've gone in a long time. So we are taking up a lot of trash. Most of it is unbroken down cardboard. So if you can try and break down your cardboard, that would be much appreciated.
We don't have to accept it, right? Isn't it supposed to be broken down? Do we require it in our regulations?
I don't remember.
Because we have an attendant right there and they can watch people.
Well, no, so I'm
No,
talking
in
about there.
dumpsters.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
no, at the transfer station, it's good there, but it's out in town.
right.
Um,
Well, then, okay, so then the other. Again, people have agency, so
mhm.
Yeah.
if they're filling, if their dumpster, if a condo association's dumpster is getting filled because people aren't breaking down their boxes.
Or same with the commercials especially.
Commercials, then I see a lot of extra work for DPW that doesn't need to be done.
Yeah. And for the commercials, they're paying extra for air that can't get squished.
Yeah,
So, but we are working through it. We're trying to get everybody picked up as efficiently and quickly as possible while maintaining safety as best we can.
okay.
But other than that, not much to report. I don't know if you want to wait till correspondence or we can talk about it now.
Yeah, we can do it now
Which
since
is,
you brought it up.
Can I make a comment first?
Oh, sure.
I saw that you had posted that you were behind in catching up on, the dumpster emptying and such. Your post was very nice. It was nicely worded. It's a much softer wording than before, and I thank you for that.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yep,
so
I'm sure.
that's an improvement. I appreciate that.
Now, my New Year's resolution is to at least,
So,
I'm not great with social media, so trying to be better about it, kind of give information. One that's helpful and just kind of what's going on with DPW day to
Yep.
day sometimes, so.
Cool.
well, it was well received. So around town, there were comments that
Mhm.
people had made, so
Mhm.
thank you.
House Bill 707,
Yeah.
it's the current. They're trying to change it essentially right now, making it a lengthier, harder process for landfills to become established.
Right.
The reason it came about was because of the Dalton issue, and a group of individuals who is very against a landfill going into
Mhm.
Dalton and having a lot of misinformation. So unfortunately, that's kind of where they're at, and they're trying to amend and lengthen the process and information and everything that they will have to go through. So the manager of Bethlehem had asked, sent me an email, asked me, but I felt it would be more of a board thing.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Thank you for sending it or having it sent along to us. I responded to it. I sent the link, I think, to you guys, to Steve, where if you do want to comment on this, you just click on the link and you can identify yourself as an elected official if you want. And then say, whether you're for or against, that's all you can, if you want to just do that, or whether you want to add any commentary to it. We've done that before on any issues. But this is a huge political football that's going to go on all through this legislative session.
Yep.
So there's competing plans within the legislature and between the legislature and the governor, so. Just something MSW will keep an eye on, right?
Yep.
All right,
Jimmy Baker, we had our meeting, we haven't had a meeting since Joel's last meeting. But the Jimmy Baker meeting we had, dues wise, at least I was right on the money, so we won't be making any adjustments. It did go up from last year due to the fact Household Hazardous Waste Day is getting more expensive. There's only one company that does Household Hazardous Waste Days, which is, and we'll send out a thing explaining everything whenever we decide on the placards. You'll get a whole informational sheet that'll have kind of also what's included in Household Hazardous Waste Day. Any resident of Waterville Valley can go to either Littleton or Plymouth during those days and drop off a.
It's been well established, so,
So,
yeah,
but just trying to
okay,
encourage that.
yeah.
Great.
Good. I noticed that the sidewalks along the bridge is still tough, there's just no way we're gonna ever get those.
So we just got our Bobcat back.
Yay, okay,
Yep, it's a little touchy right now, just because it relearned its brain, so it's a little bit more sensitive right now, so we're still trying to tune it back in, go through the settings, get it where we need it to be. But we do have it, the plow that we have for the machine is smaller
right,
than the footprint, so we will be able to access that bridge a lot easier now.
good,
Great.
good, all right. Any other questions or comments?
No.
for DPW? All right, thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
We got admin, rec, and water sewer. So do you want to do water sewer? Since Dylan's here, we don't have to
He's
keep
not here
him.
anyway, I think.
Well,
Yeah.
Brooke gave me a text. She had to leave. She's not feeling too well. If you want, I can run.
Well, let's do Dylan
Oh,
first to get rid of, to get
So,
that.
my partner is a nurse.
Yeah,
She said right now there's a different strain of the flu going around and it's very deadly, so just be wary of that, wash your hands, be careful, you know.
stay home, don't come to meetings,
So
don't go
just
to
be
places where
wary.
people congregate. Thank
Awesome.
you. Yeah. Yeah, why don't you go ahead, Dylan? Let's get Dylan so he doesn't have to hang around for.
So first item was just for the River Road.
Yeah.
Break. It was a ball valve that failed. Basically what happened was the roads cracked and it just split. So
Wow.
Ellie Johnston was here very quickly.
Yeah.
As I pointed out, they actually, because they didn't have to call in anybody additional, they actually didn't charge us for $5,000.
Right.
Nice.
That was a
Nice.
nice
Right.
Wow.
offering from them.
Yeah.
So anyways, I had.
Only we're having these problems?
Well, it seems like it's so far, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll take it anyway, yeah.
But with that being stated, again, that was relatively quick.
Mhm.
It was a couple of few hours. We were able to get a truck out here and suck the manhole out and everything and get it resolved. With that being said, though, engineering work regarding that sewer line.
Mhm.
I've been in touch with 2 different engineering firms. Well, technically 3, but Black and Beach is one of them as well. I just
Mhm.
want to get an understanding of the scope of work
Yeah,
and
that's what
cost
we're waiting to
Yeah.
find
to
out.
get this underway. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to brief you on that,
Okay,
that I'm doing that. And then once I receive some scopes of work and some ideas of cost, I'm gonna bring that to the board.
mhm.
Ideally, I would have that before town meeting,
For town
so that way
meeting.
we can.
Do it
because I
this
know
year.
that's gonna be a question.
Yeah.
Of people that live over
Yeah.
there is, when is our road being done?
Right,
And-
which we had to put off for a
That's
year,
right.
and so,
Uh,
yeah,
so there's.
might have to
that
put it off
component
2
of it.
years.
Yeah, I actually didn't think that those 2 were gonna go as long as they did. They actually, mine's gonna be quicker than they were, but I apologize.
That's
Uh,
fine.
So the last.
We're
one
here
was a little
anyway.
bit of a topic that we kind of ignored a little bit, which is the lead service line.
Mhm.
So I found Steve and I were contacted by the state that we actually are eligible for up to a $60,000 grant.
Awesome.
It's no match. It's just you apply and basically you have a consultant that gives you a scope of work with the fee
Mhm.
that goes along with it. You submit that to the state.
Mhm.
I have until the end of January to get that submitted. So I've reached out to Time Bond who's actually doing our VE
Right.
work. It would be a different arm and then would
Right.
send people, as well as CMA engineers. So CMA engineers were the engineering firm that actually did
We
the
dealt
water.
with them, yeah.
Yes, they were the firm that did the water meter installation project as well as well 4 and the
Okay.
water treatment facility. The reason why I contacted them was they have institutional knowledge of all the work they did. They have all the records already.
Yeah.
They were nice enough to provide me with those records too, so that way I can provide those to another engineering firm, if that's the case. But I just wanted to, mention that I'm going to pursue this, and I just wanted to make sure that, if the board had any concerns or,
Mhm.
points of contention with it, that I brought it to your attention.
So what would this money be used for specifically?
So the issue that we have is that majority of our service lines are designated as unknown material. And it's
Yes,
because we don't have really any records. The town as a whole, I mean, not
Yes.
just the water and wastewater, but as a whole. Because of that, we need to identify service line materials. Where this gets a bit easier from where our initial understanding was, I'm gonna be honest with you, Dan, the town, myself, we didn't have any of the records from that project that CMA did. I just assumed we didn't pay for them and they never gave them to us. That's why I thought we didn't have them. So I reached out to them and they provided them to me. Compiling that and then proving it, we have to do some more work besides compiling it and showing the state that, no, this is actually the case, that, we know almost every single condo complex had to have, besides, off that way and up off.
Excuse me, keep on going.
Had to have meter pits installed. So we know, for example, as an example, like Windsor Hill, they have meter pits. Over Tyler Spring, they have meter pits. Mad River Condo, they have meter pits. That's a lot of units. That's the majority of the town has meter pits, and why that's relevant is we know what the service line material is because it was installed roughly in 2012. We wouldn't have connected a lead service line or a galvanized service line to their unit. We know their lead, we know their lead, we know their copper, sorry.
copper.
And that's easily verifiable by opening it up and you can see it, it's copper coming off the main and going to the building. So point being is this, money, and it's no match, we don't have to spend any money, would take that off of our plate, get that work done, and so that way we're not, remember, this is an unfunded federal mandate that was implemented in 2024. So that would basically resolve this for us. At least that's my intent, is to have this be off of our plate, check that box and get it done and over with. Because the reality of there being additional grant money going forward, I don't know how strong it is. Sure.
Are we gonna build a simple database with that information or a spreadsheet or?
We already have one, Dan,
Something.
and in each service line, actually, every unit has
Mine's
its own.
copper.
Well, every single unit has its own unique ID. So according to the EPA in the state, every single service line has a unique ID now. In accordance with address and a couple other factors.
Yep.
So yes, there would be a database that has that. We would submit that to the state. That's basically how they would say, yes, you're good to go.
And what are the consequences of us getting that approval from the state or getting that? I mean,
So you mean it having this work be completed versus not?
yes,
My understanding is that there will be I don't know what the fine structure is because we're not up against it yet. It's a 10-year program.
Yep.
When that 10 years comes and goes or lapses, there's going to be a fine structure associated with it. I can't tell you right now what it's going to be, but it will be a violation because.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
so this is great. If you can get a grant, that's wonderful.
so again, I just.
I'm all for grants.
brief you on
Yeah,
that.
of the stuff for the study,
Yeah.
which will show us we'll probably have to spend millions of dollars, but that's another.
No, hopefully that will,
Yeah.
hopefully, so point of
Right.
make it quick.
Yeah.
So basically, that study, is, I'm hoping, is all we need to do, and then it'll resolve this whole lead. service
okay.
line. So that's why.
That'd be awesome.
Because we'll be able to pinpoint where everything is and not have to do
We have a
anything
lot of
necessarily.
information
Well,
from
that's all
that year
the-
installation
All
project.
the
Right.
info.
Dylan, do you think it's worthwhile for the town to budget for that revenue,
So that was my question to Steve.
that
Yeah.
grant revenue?
What's that?
Do you think it's worthwhile for us to budget
I
for that
think
grant
we
revenue?
should budget for up to $60,000 of revenue. Just because it seems like the state agrees.
Who's the grant through?
New Hampshire DES.
Thanks.
Just to clarify, I informed the state, I think you may not appreciate how I said this to them, but so be it. That basically we can't afford to do this study without this grant.
Mm.
We're up against it. We have $100 million project on the horizon.
Yeah.
I told them, I said, look, if you want the town to cooperate with this, we need to have this grant be given to us. That's the only option we have. And we can't just, we don't have the ability to keep spending money.
Yeah.
Knowing what's on the horizon.
Exactly.
Anyways, so that clicked with them because they told us afterwards that we're like the poster child for this grant, so.
Good.
Good. Anyway,
All right,
Good
good,
job.
that's,
excellent.
that was my update. I
Yeah,
don't believe I have
excellent.
anything else, and if I do, I'll wait till next time.
Good job.
All right.
I will be out.
Have a great couple days off.
Yeah,
No, you're not gonna be joining us for our budget discussions
That's fine.
tomorrow?
you can have a blast without me.
Well, we have
You're on
some
screen?
questions for you.
Hit them long and straight.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's golf.
Yeah, I won't be golfing, unfortunately.
Oh. Going south though.
Yeah, but we'll enjoy a few days hopefully, and hopefully it don't run into any surprises in the meantime.
All right,
So,
well, have a good time.
Enjoy.
We'll see you early
Yeah,
next week.
enjoy.
take care.
You too.
All right,
Thanks, Dylan.
okay. Rec, what did,
So Brooke had a couple of updates for us. She said her December revenues were down a little bit in what she had projected, but not terribly. Still anticipating and projecting her revenues, which equate to what we have recorded, up by $15,000 for the year of 2025, keeping the town subsidy just at about 53%
Okay.
for rec. She said that was due to vacation week being slightly down. She said probably due to success of the Christmas market and good skiing conditions, keeping people up at the mountain and out in town. She said that Sandra and Brooke are gonna be away at the Northern New England Parks and Rec Conference next week, the week of 1/13 through 1/15.
Mhm.
And as always, to check the calendar for up and coming events and programs.
short and sweet? Okay.
Admin services has been very busy with their heads buried in the books and making sure that 2025 is tying out as we need it to and
Yeah.
as appropriate. And as you know, working on our 2026 operating and capital budget.
Cool. I have one question.
Yeah.
The quit claim deed for Moose Run,
Yes.
can you prod that along every other week or so? I get
Yeah.
questioned about it and the property owners up there are getting angrier and angrier.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's left with, I mean, it's not us that's holding anything up, right?
Well, I think it would be beneficial, Rich, if you and I got on a call with Liz to help give her a little
All right.
more history about that.
Okay, this is a tough season for her.
It is,
I mean-
and
But
for
it
us.
has been for months now.
Well,
That's
not
reasonable.
only months. This is a 2008 warrant.
No, I
article.
know, but
Yeah,
she
yeah.
was gonna get right on it and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden things got
We'll,
bogged
we'll,
down.
we'll be seeing, was she coming to the meeting tomorrow?
I think so.
Yeah, let's talk to her tomorrow about
Okay.
it. We can talk to
Okay.
her tomorrow about it.
Okay.
You know, just go off to the side and just see what, it's just get a realistic
And
timeline from
I
her.
don't understand why it can't be done. Like, it seems so easy to me. I'm a layperson, so I don't know,
Yeah.
but
No, I mean, it's probably a list of 100 priorities. And I had a question for her I sent off today. And you know, so we have people like me asking her questions now about zoning ordinances and all that other stuff. But let's talk to her tomorrow.
okay.
Yeah.
See if she has an idea of the timeline.
Or if we need to go to somebody else. Like,
Well, yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, is there someone else?
Well,
we
she's
should-
got, just so you know, Wendy, she's gotten to the point where she has a deed drafted.
Oh, okay.
So we're there. It's just,
Mhm.
and I forget, I apologize, but there are some questions concerning the history
all right, we'll
of
talk
why
to her.
hasn't this got pushed over the goalpost yet.
Maybe tomorrow after the planning board meeting,
Perfect.
we can sit and talk and see if she has what questions she has. Let me just check
Okay.
my schedule and try to get this. Keep Barry and
Barry and
Tom and
Everyone.
everyone up there happy. Let's see, it's tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I got is our select board meeting that
In
afternoon,
the
but
afternoon, yeah.
I
Yeah.
need to give you an update and schedule, and that is I have to drive my wife to Dana-Farber tomorrow morning.
Okay,
And our meeting is
1 o'clock,
1 o'clock.
1
So
o'clock.
it's gonna be tight for me to get back, and there's
Okay.
some chance that I'll be late. to get
Okay.
back. She
It's
knows
your
we're not
first- it's
going
your
to
first
IKEA or
offense.
something
It's your
today.
first offense, so we won't punish you too badly for it.
Might be my second offense,
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm trying to get back, that she wants me there with her.
No, of course, whatever you need,
So-
whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
No, we'll just trundle along, it's all we can do.
So,
I'll look through the regulations and see what the penalty is for first offense.
what I'm going to do is I will take my book and computer with me and such. And then I'll have her drop me here. Because
Mhm.
she's going home after
Mhm.
we get back, so.
Right, well, we won't really get much in the budget right away. We've got David
Right.
at the front end about
Right.
and I think I send you some
You did.
notes
You
I
did.
had for you guys to look at. It's not everything. There's a lot of other nuances, but I didn't want to
Right.
spend pages and pages. 3 pages wasn't enough.
Okay, so I'm gonna take these, so that I
Okay.
have some, no.
Um, So just a couple things we need to talk about for admin.
Yeah.
We need to decide a dedication and in memoriam. We haven't done that yet, have we?
No.
And we're getting close to the date
Oh,
where
yeah,
we got
gotta
to
do that,
get the
yeah.
town report out.
Yeah.
So, I think dedication is easy, right?
Yes,
I mean, it'll be Mark,
yeah.
it'll be the dedication. I don't know if we have anything for in memoriam at this point. I haven't heard anything. Anyone who's here, who's passed,
There've been a couple people pass.
I know, I can't remember.
I can't
This year.
remember. I can't
I,
remember.
and I don't, other than Mark, I don't know the other person.
I'll ask, yeah. 'cause
Yeah,
then
ask
the-
around.
Yeah.
There's at
I'll-
least one or two. I
Yeah.
think
There, well,
a
yeah,
gentleman's wife also died.
right,
Trying to
in
remember.
town.
I just could not remember.
yeah,
Some notables, there were a couple notables.
Were there?
They escaped.
Yeah,
I'll double,
we need to
Yeah.
ask Tony.
But we'll need to
Tony
get,
will know.
yeah, we'll need to get that
She's the
info
only one I.
Yeah.
Has Kristen asked you for that, Rich? Because she might have a better pulse, and I can check with her
for,
tomorrow.
no,
For
I
in
haven't,
memoriam.
I haven't talked to her at all about
Alright,
this.
let me ask her tomorrow, because I recall hearing her talk about that recently, so.
Right.
She might have a good pulse on that, but if not, you're right, maybe we can check with Tony.
Yeah, and just ask around,
Mm.
and other people who would know, maybe Cindy,
yeah, and Tom Gross,
Tom Gross, the usual suspects who
Yeah.
who kind of know everybody and keep tabs on
Yeah.
what's going on around town.
Okay.
So on the dedication.
Yep.
Someone's gotta write it. Now I'm writing the select board report. Someone could write that and I can write the dedication, or I don't know, it's gonna be difficult to do both in time. Maybe Chief would like to write the dedication, take it from his notes that he gave at the celebration of life.
that would be nice.
That may be a nice way of
Yeah.
doing it. It'll include all, I mean, I don't have any of that at hand.
Sure.
Yeah, he certainly was closer to Mark than any of us.
Yeah.
Over-
See
so
what he
longer,
thinks about
For a much longer time.
converting his notes into a 1-page
Yeah,
dedication
that's
That
a
makes
good
sense.
idea.
to Mark.
Yeah.
And then, you or town staff, or even I can fill in anything we want to fill in, especially dates, if we're looking for dates, when he arrived, and stuff like that, but,
Sure.
okay, yeah, see what he says on that. The cover, do we want it to be the usual anodyne cover, or do we want to put Mark on the cover?
I know that, I think prior to Mark's passing, Kristen did post on our website that we were looking for, she opened it up as
Looking
almost
for
like a
pictures.
contest.
Contest, yeah.
Right,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think
if-
we got anything.
I don't.
No, you
so-
did.
Did we?
Oh, you
Yeah,
sent something in?
I
Okay.
actually donated like 20 different.
Oh, okay,
pictures.
last I heard, I think Chief said he really didn't get much of anything, because he was collecting them, right?
Kristen was.
Kristen was,
Kristen's
okay,
collecting them, and
okay,
she was
maybe
going
it's a different
through.
thing then.
Yeah,
I sent her some beautiful pictures.
All right, well, maybe there's something we can get out of that. I mean, just be. It just seems to be the right thing to do. I don't know if we can get him on the front cover. In some manner, if it makes sense.
Yeah, let's
I see
see.
what you guys think about it. but,
Yep.
That and the dedication, and then anything in memoriam, and I'll do the select board
I think a
report.
picture of Mark on the dedication page would be appropriate
Yep,
and more appropriate than on the front cover.
it could
of
be,
the-
yeah.
Well, I'm
That's
hoping,
Of the report, to be honest with you.
yeah. I'm hoping she'll have a couple of options for us
Right.
to look at and
Well, yeah, what I was thinking of is that we usually have some, we have a variety of different covers, but some of them are photographs.
Right,
So it could be a photograph of Waterville Valley, but Mark is in the photograph.
like holding the coveted trophy for the kickball day between the.
Yeah, anything,
town
yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah,
school,
yeah,
or-
anything like that.
Yeah.
So something that's town oriented, but we managed to get Mark into the
Yeah.
cover. And then in the dedication page, we can have a, profile pic.
yeah, whatever you guys think's appropriate.
All right,
Cool. All right,
we need to, I think that's all I wanted to do. The other thing that, given this year, we had talked about renaming the meeting room.
yeah,
I have a pretty good idea of who I think
yeah.
the name, so we ought to, can we put that on the agenda? And then decide, make
Yeah,
a
next
decision
Meeting,
for next meeting?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, we've talked about it. I
Oh.
mean, I think Ray and Pat would be a nice name,
Yeah.
right? Name it after them.
yeah.
We had another agenda item, but is that tomorrow?
Did we? I don't have anything
Yeah.
on here.
We added
Yes.
something for tomorrow,
Is that tomorrow?
yeah, yeah. 'Cause we got it last
The
minute.
transit agreement.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh,
'cause
yes.
we got it last.
Oh,
minute.
yes. All right.
Okay.
Well, I'll hold off on that until you come.
Okay.
I know you have a great interest in that one in particular, and there's been some news there, I guess, right? I mean, I haven't had a chance to look
Yeah.
at it, but, all right.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what her changes were.
Okay, yeah, we'll look at it and,
Have it
You
tomorrow.
could-
we'll do it tomorrow.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yep.
Calendar review.
Yeah.
So we have planning board regular meeting tomorrow at 8:30. That's gonna be all about zoning amendments and master plan. Special select board meeting, that's us tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Don't forget, we have a joint school board select board meeting at 3 PM on the 16th. This one tends to be about budget related
Right.
more than
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
else, so and they should have their budget, I think they're having the second reading, final reading of their budget that day, I think, after our meeting, so they'll have an idea of what they're looking at for their budget.
Yeah,
That's
So
3
3
PM?
3 PM over at the school
on the 16th.
on the 16th, yeah. And then there's a regular planning board meeting no, that's not planning board, it's select board meeting.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, select board meeting on the
Select.
21st. There is a planning board, public hearing on the 13th.
Wait, sorry, the school is on the 15th, you said. not
The school is I have the 16th
That's a
here.
Friday,
It must be the 15th then.
so Friday, 15th, yeah.
It must be. the
My note said 16th.
Was it not January? Was it a different month?
Hold on a second. It should be the 15th.
Yeah.
I have it on my calendar already as,
Okay,
15th.
15th, much better for me.
and I believe it's at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. But we can, because it's an hour ahead of time, an hour before their usual meeting, yeah? Is that how we've done it past?
Yep, that helps.
Right, okay,
That helps a lot.
good,
Okay.
all right. And so you were asking, so the planning board has their regular meeting tomorrow at
Right.
8:30, but they also have a public hearing scheduled on the Adventure Zone for 4 PM on the 13th,
4 PM.
4 PM.
Oh, sorry.
I wasn't privy to that discussion since I wasn't,
Right, right.
seated for that. But 4 PM on Tuesday, the 13th. And the meeting with David tomorrow is to go over what we
Right.
as a board, what we want to say at that meeting,
Right.
based on their new proposal. Okay, does anybody have
I
anything
feel like we're
else?
not making headway on that whole
Wow.
parking thing.
We'll see, we'll talk
I mean,
about it,
Our forward motion.
Yeah.
It's,
we'll discuss it tomorrow.
feels like
Do it in front of the cameras, yeah. Does anybody have anything else
no,
like
I
to talk
don't.
about? Would anyone like to adjourn this meeting?
I will make that.
We have
motion.
nothing for non-public, right?
I do not.
I don't have any.
Okay, so we have a motion to
Adjourn.
I
adjourn.
will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we adjourn at 16:37. Sorry,
16.
6:37.
If only it was 16:30.
If only, if only. Yeah, so see you. See you tomorrow.
Yeah.
At 1 o'clock. I've asked,